All right. Welcome, kiddies, to another episode of The Creep Show. Welcome to the Comic Wrestling Podcast. Sorry about that. Kind of feel like I'm getting possessed there, guys. Sorry. This is our Halloween special, so boys and ghouls, come into the little comic shop of horrors. And as my mustache falls off, be careful because we're not sure what's lurking in the darkness and into the shadows, but you're in for one heck of a ride. I'm the ghost of the host, Ace Willams, but tonight, dudes, I'm taking on Hulk Hogan, brothers, and we're gonna have one hell of a time. And joining me as always, the grotesque, frightening, and all-around master of mayhem, Deadly Dave, but tonight, he is taking the form of
Dave Mortal, arriba!
Arriba, that's right! And joining us again is the big majestic himself, Markadius, or is that Sheriff Hopper? Alright. And finally, the two-time appearing guest, Stone Cold Steven, or is that Hewitt, or Sawyer? What do you want, brother? Sawyer? Alright, and if someone messes it up, don't kill us, alright, dude?
It's to the spirit. I just want to kill somebody out here, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, I don't, dude! You gotta take your pills and take your vitamins, brother! Alright, let's get this back on the road. Today is the Halloween special, the horror special, the one that we've been talking about for a while, guys. We've all been really excited for it. But before we get right into that, arriba. I'm trying to stay stay with you and keep you up to date with what I'm trying to say. But before we get into that, folks, got a couple little things we want to talk about. How's everybody, first of all? How are y'all doing?
Good. Been waiting for this for a while. So.
Yeah. You're right. You're just ready to butcher. You're on the
I'm ready.
You say go, and I'm there.
I hit a person on the way here just to get into it. My car's covered
Really?
in blood. It's very
now, is that something a Hewitt or a Sawyer would do?
Oh, that's
because that seems like something the sheriff
I ran
would have done.
over a Hewitt.
Oh, so you took the name?
I took an adopted family and just ran the.
He's a real son of a bitch, folks. Watch out for this one. How are you, Sheriff?
All right, Hawkins is always strange. So
You dealing with any damn kids?
yeah, a few damn kids.
Get it back together. All right. So there's not much. This is not going to be the traditional comic podcast or comic wrestling podcast where we go over what's new and what's hot. I do have a list of stuff, but we're off the script today. See how that landed? That was kind of neat. Like a ghost said it there.
It's like I did it. It gets weird around this time of year, man.
Is it 3 a.m.? Because that's like dead
It is
Summertime.
But before I say anything else, I do want to say Parker, whatever the hell his stupid name was.
Buck
Barber, which it's funny you have Mortal in your name because he was creating a wrestler the other day in a game, and we came up with the name, the Maniac, Max Mortal. And it's the stupidest looking character. It's one of them generic characters where he's all in black and he's got the Sting face paint on. Like Nick would make. But the name was kind of cool, and I was like, wow, too bad you didn't use that instead of Buck Barber, which sounds ridiculous. But I digress. But him and I have been on a series of matches in wrestling games because of our feud here is kicked off, and we really can't kick the shit out of each other because he would just die at the palm of my hands. Because the 24-inch pythons, brother, get out of the way, my arms are coming through, dude! But I have to name off these matches because I am very cocky with the game right now because listen to these matches I beat this motherfucker in. I beat him in 2 I Quit matches where I was the Undertaker in one and I was R-Truth in another. They were very hard. They were on super hard difficulties. The Royal Rumble, I came in at number 1 and I won. 40-man Royal Rumble.
Wow.
The Legend Killer did it. He was in that match and he was a bitch. I lasted 27 people before I got eliminated.
How many DDTs off the ropes did he do?
I didn't do any.
Oh, I appreciate that very much. Thank you.
If I could get away from the ropes as much as I can and not even fuck that, nope, I'm gone. I beat him because he was so cocky that he thought he could beat me. I told him, you pick the match and I'll play the game. He picked a 3-on-1 Hell in a Cell match on epic difficulty. He was Bray Wyatt with the Wyatt family. I was Aiden English with infinite finishers, and I beat him in less than 10 minutes without using a single finisher. Put him through the cell twice.
Somebody sucks at wrestling games.
Or somebody's just damn good. So then he came over again, and we had a 6-man Hell in a Cell where I, again, beat him, and it included Jack Swagger, his character Max, Hulk Hogan dudes, Eddie Guerrero, and Mick Foley, and then we had a regular steel cage match for the Hardcore Championship that he was able to pick all the stipulations yet again, and I prevailed once more. So I'm putting this out there. If anybody wants to challenge me, dude, at a WWE game, I might beat you. Parker, I'll beat your ass every time, but I might beat somebody else. I'm not that good, but... End of that. So we'll get into the Halloween horror special, folks. Who wants to take the floor?
So, question for you. It's not really movie-related horror. What is the difference between horror and thriller? There's a fine line between them, but there's a very definitive line between them.
Well,
You guys, what's your definition of a horror movie and a thriller movie? Because I think a lot of horror movies, pretty much all of them contain thriller elements, but not all thrillers are horror movies.
See, I think anything, everything in this world is subjective.
Yep.
It's your perception of what horror is. To me, Last House on the Left was an okay movie. But
Was that a thriller or a horror movie?
Thriller, but when the girl got raped, that was straight up horror. Because that's
See?
a fucking rape, and that's horrific.
Yep.
I would not be in a thriller situation like, oh my god, I gotta get to the phone. In that moment, I have to get the fuck out of here.
So what about Silence of the Lambs?
That's a thriller.
But what's the horror aspect with
The idea.
Buffalo Bill
The idea of it.
and skinning people alive? Isn't that horror-esque?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's all in the same, like, window.
Yeah.
Because then you've got, like, the horror movies like Chucky
Which are just,
that are comedic after a while. The
Right.
damn mustache brother dudes! I don't know how Hogan did it!
Or like a movie like Tremors, you could call it a horror or a thriller.
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
It's very suspenseful because you're, right.
yeah.
We
you
just
know?
did the review of it, but the Joker movie
Yeah.
could be
Oh,
a
God,
horror
that was
movie.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
a great
Yep.
movie.
You saw it too? Well, it's unanimous. We all saw it, and it was terrific. I like this. My hands are just too small.
I don't really wear it a lot. I hang
My
it
thumb is alright, but, like, who the fuck's got that kind of
Um,
finger?
It ripped down there, so I've been careful with it. I paid like $70 for it. So after it ripped, I was like,
Well, I'm gonna take it off. Why don't you say that then?
well, it
you
wasn't.
gotta lead with
You
these
leave it in
things.
your furnace?
No, it wasn't. I don't have a furnace, but it wasn't for me wearing it.
Right.
It was hung up somewhere,
Okay.
and my pitcher dropped onto it, and it ripped it off.
Oh, that would
and
suck.
it fell on the ground.
If I can
Cool.
get it
I
off.
like it.
But yeah, I feel like horror movies are like subjective.
Okay. I just want to get your idea because I had it rattling around my head. Like, a lot of horrors are thrillers, but not all thrillers are horrors. A lot of them are just kind of like a race against time kind of thing.
Right. Well,
But
that's the
there's no
thing.
real
Like, I'll just
horror involved.
pack a stack of random horror movies.
Yeah.
I just call them horror because that's the genre.
Right.
But I mean, you've got like From Hell, which is a horror movie with like Jack the
Yeah.
Ripper kind of shit.
7.
But then you've got a thriller.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, to me personally, I throw them all. I mean, I'm not gonna put them over here with my comedies.
Right.
Right.
But then I have comedies over here that are like
'Cause then you
comedy romance movies,
Then
like
you get drama too, which is
Right.
thriller-esque.
which is the movie The Box.
Right.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
With the old man?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that drama thriller.
Right.
The movie Devil.
Yeah.
I love that movie where they're in the elevator. That's like I would say, straight up say that's a thriller. It's got horror elements because of certain scenes, flashy moments, grotesque images, but it's not horror in the sense of Pennywise is chasing you down,
No.
Trying to kill you.
right,
Right.
and gonna tell all your friends you're gay.
I know your dirty secret.
But no, that's a good question. That's the way
Yeah.
to get us right off, into the idea. And I have so many fucking lists.
This is gonna be a
on the
full
list.
episode.
Well, right here, perfect. I have no particular order. Look at you. You got a tablet. I'm over here, primitive. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know if we're Star Wars, if we're in the future, if we're in the past, but we got a little bit of everything. Star Wars. I don't know. I have general topics of discussion of before we get into specifics. Like, does everybody have like a favorite horror movie, a horror? Not even, and it doesn't have to be horror. Again, like you just said, it doesn't have to be.
It could be thriller.
Well, not even that. It could be
like thriller, drama, and horror. It's sort of that same family.
But when I think
No.
horror and like all that, I'm not thinking like they don't have to be the
It
terrifying
doesn't have to be
movies.
slasher
It
movies.
could be a fucking
Right.
a goof like this that has a
Right.
horror
Like, have you ever
element.
seen Killer Tomatoes from Outer Space?
Right,
Yeah.
you just
Killer
borrowed
Clowns
Killer
from Outer
Clowns.
Space.
You have that. I let you borrow it.
Those are
Yeah.
very cheesy horror movies. They
Yeah.
have some horror elements,
Yep.
but they're pretty much funny.
So does
Yeah.
anybody have? I mean, it doesn't even have to be a specific one, or just any that really kind of come off the top of your head that when it comes around this time of the year or whatever that you kind of like go out of your way maybe to be like, oh, I'd like to see that, or that would be
There's some that I have to watch, like
right. Like there's
Yeah.
Christmas times where people watch certain
Ernest
Christmas.
Scared Stupid.
Right.
I have
Love
to
it.
watch it every
Yep.
Classic.
Halloween
Haven't seen it in ages, but
season.
classic.
Yep.
Yep.
It's just how it's just what I
I
gotta
would have
do.
to say Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan.
That was
I
the
just,
first time
I
saw
love
it.
that one. I don't know why. I think my favorite scene is when he uppercuts the guy's head off the building. That to
So
me, that's just-
cartoony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What was
And,
that
like-
one?
That was like 5, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And it looks like
Dang.
Jason's so out of his element being in New York City, like it doesn't really
Yeah, like
make
why
any
the hell would he
sense,
just
like-
follow these people?
I
I mean, they're
know.
just college kids, and he just follows them. Like,
Yeah.
why, Michael? Why? Or not Michael, but Jason. Jesus, I'm. Oh,
We're off the rails already.
what am I in the Silver Dome or the Sky Dome?
He followed them to stop the
That was it, that was-
premarital sex. Isn't that what it all happens when they're all?
It's that deep.
He's like, you're gonna. If I couldn't bone, neither can you guys.
What happened to it all being about his mother?
That's where it stems from. He has weird mommy sexuality issues, man.
I thought it
Ran
was-
around his brain.
I just thought she just got her head cut off, and he was like, "Oh, fuck this!" Because it was the
He
third
was giving
movie.
her a decayed head in the second one, man. What was he doing with that decayed head in that shed? This is creepy. It's like a shrine door. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, man.
Her mouth was open, and I saw some white
Wow.
stuff. But
Oh.
Yep.
Hey.
And the hockey mask didn't come until the
Jason.
third one. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but y'all, that's just my only information on it. Do you have like a particular?
Halloween.
I wanted to say it before you because I don't want to seem like a copycat, but of course it has to be Halloween. It has
It's
to be.
Halloween.
Now, which one?
The first one.
Original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was a little kid
Yep.
at my grandma's house. I was probably 8 years old, watching, just flipping through. At Halloween, it was probably mid October, flipping through channels, and I saw Halloween on there, and it was a whole Halloween marathon all the way up to H2O because fuck
Okay.
Resurrection sucks. Who cares? Who needs it?
I have it written down here though. We can talk about
Fuck Resurrection.
You need to say more.
it. Buster Rhymes, y'all.
Oh.
Make it clap.
I watched the whole thing. I watched it, didn't move.
Completely enamored by it.
Didn't leave.
Wow.
Didn't eat any dinner. I sat there and watched every Halloween movie when I was 8. That's when I knew I wanted to watch horror movies, and it's what got me into it.
I could totally relate to that. Like I don't, not exactly that same story, but Halloween was the one that kicked it off. I remember watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know if it was a marathon or maybe, but I just remember
Yeah.
watching, I don't know, I think it was the second one, because the first image of Halloween that I have is when he's boiling that fucking,
That's the second one. Yeah, in the hospital.
in the hospital in the tub.
Yep.
Or
That's my favorite kill.
it is a great kill, and that stuck with me forever. Like, that dude's getting
It's
boiled
a very-
alive.
It's a very personal kill. A lot of Michael's kills are just stabs to the wall, which seem very impersonal. When
Right.
you're grabbing somebody by the back
And
of their
holding
head
them
and
down
holding
to
water till
drown
they die.
in boiling
That's pretty
water.
personal.
Yep.
He didn't know this person, but that kill just seemed like he hated that person for his whole life.
And no, that's like
Yeah.
totally a good like point. I mean, because we'll talk about Halloween in like full, but like in the remake, in the well, not the original, but the first remake, the Halloween one,
Okay. Yeah.
when he kills Danny Trejo,
Yeah.
he like murders him like he's his, well, because he does know him. He has that little relationship with him.
Yep.
Which, because when I was watching that, I was like, why are you killing him, man? He was so nice to you. And he's even saying, he's like, Mikey, I was good to you. And he
Yeah.
does the same thing, like drowns him and then fucking slams a TV on his head. That's very
That was
personal.
a very disturbing kill in the fact that he was friends with him for what, that 20 plus years he was in that facility. He talked to him a lot.
And it seemed like at that point in that movie, it could have been like, I could kind of see him maybe having a friend. Because you saw him as a kid, so
Right.
you knew he wasn't completely fucked up.
Right.
You knew there might have been a little humanity to him.
Yeah.
And it was a remake. At least that's what I was going into.
Yeah.
Trying not to think of it as the same movie.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of that remake was peeling back the mask.
Yeah.
That shrouded Michael Myers. For
And I
so
love that he
long.
used the paper mache and shit. I thought that was really good.
It was taking away sort of that mystique,
Yep.
which a lot of people
Got pissed
you know,
off.
don't like. Because it took away his mystique, his like a weird, mysterious horror enigma that never talked,
Mm-hmm.
never said anything.
Yeah.
He just fucking murdered people, and people didn't like the human aspect to Michael Myers because they didn't want to. Nobody wanted to feel bad for him.
Right, he's a
Yeah,
monster.
You don't want to sympathize with him, yeah.
Nobody wants to sympathize with the monster, and that's what. But I do like that it was different. I like that it wasn't just Rob Zombie just like, yeah, we just do Halloween 1 the same way, different people. Let's get some better special effects going on and pretty much slap label up all day, put it out, and make some money, because that's what a lot of people do with remakes. Is just don't change them.
The Friday the 13th remake. I mean, it had new elements, but I mean, it really was just made to be made.
I don't know what could happen to that franchise, because really after Jason X, it pretty much slaughtered the whole thing.
I
don't know what could save that franchise.
I think when he went to space, it was anytime a horror character could go to space, they have saved their franchise.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Remember Michael Myers in space? When Haddonfield floated off of Earth, and Michael Myers was in space.
The only reason they didn't do Michael Myers in space is because that franchise didn't shit yet.
Remember when Elm Street floated off the Earth, and Freddy was in space with the space helmet, and he killed Neil Armstrong when he was walking across the moon?
I feel like
that
I watched.
My favorite
I feel like I watched that in high school. You know, a documentary on that, but I'm not too sure. I think it was Buzz Aldrin dressed up as him.
Yeah, there was.
So,
yeah, Halloween though, it would probably be my Halloween, and then like Tales from the Crypt, because that was at the same time when I really got huge into that show.
God, the movies, that series, that TV series scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I remember on the weekends I'd stay up really late. About 2 o'clock in the morning, that show would come on.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, that would freak the shit out
of me. The music, it was just the best. And you're going up the hill, in the cemetery, you get into the mansion, and the Crypt Keeper's, hello, kitties!
He's a freak.
Yeah, he was awesome. All like animatronic and puppeteered and shit.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great show. Where'd my general topics paper go, fellas? Who stole it? Fucking ghosts. I don't know if people can hear. We got some music going, you know, some Halloween, Christmas.
This classic too. That's probably my second horror movie I've ever watched.
We won't talk about it because there's someone at the table that doesn't like it.
Yeah. Well, and it's got Christmas themes in there too. It's like, well, is it a Christmas movie?
It's a Nightmare Before Christmas. That's not scary.
Christmas and Halloween.
Yeah. So.
He's Oogie Boogie. He's the fucking boogeyman.
I love Oogie Boogie. He creeped me out as a fucking kid too.
Still creeps me out as a kid. Right, when he unzips at the end and he's got all the bugs.
That was fucking freaky.
Who does the voice? Because he nails it.
I don't know. Danny Elfman does the voice of Jack Skellington when he's singing. And Danny Elfman is the composer of like every fucking Batman movie.
Everything that matters?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Spider-Man, Batman, Justice League. That was good music. The movie's shit.
We won't go there.
It does have J.K. Simmons in it, so it's all good.
Spider-Man! That guy?
Yeah.
What movies or shows or scared you as kids, or even maybe now if you watch it as an adult, you're like, you know what?
I think Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
There was this episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that I still remember today, where there was this monster in a pool, and he would drag kids in and drown them and kill them.
That's crazy to think that was on Nickelodeon.
It came out of the fucking pool at the end, and it was some freaky skeleton. And for like 2 years, I swam in pools. I was deadly scared of pools. Didn't go fucking near them.
See, I love that show. I did, but I don't remember any specific. I remember one of a dollhouse.
Yeah.
The dollhouse being in the attic.
Oh, yeah.
That's really.
I vaguely remember that
it's
episode.
Creepy.
But I watched that show all the time on Nickelodeon because that was like. There was like a time frame on at that point where there was like adult themed kind of
like
shows.
9 o'clock-ish. They started flipping over.
The only episode I remember is they were listening to the radio and like a certain station would bring people to the afterlife.
Oh really? That's sweet. Why isn't that on DVD?
Yeah.
I've got
It might be.
Goosebumps because this shit was awesome as a kid.
Goosebumps.
This shit was really great.
Anything with Slappy the Dummy in it.
Yeah.
I don't have these ones. Didn't have Slappy in it, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna buy more.
Totally.
Which is crazy because have you guys seen the movie? Goosebumps.
Not the second one,
Jack
the
Black.
first
Okay,
one.
that was great.
Yeah,
I honestly
I like that
liked
a
that.
lot.
The second
That was
one
good.
looks stupid. I won't watch it.
Oh really?
It just looks dumb.
Yeah, they got me.
But it's like, how the hell does that movie not scare me like these shows did?
I think because you're just a kid.
Even when I
Kids
just
have
watched it
bigger
the other day,
imaginations than adults.
they put way more effort into the show.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Way more effort into like a 20-minute show than they did an hour and a half movie. Because they relied way too much on the CGI and shit.
Right.
And you can appreciate practical effects as a horror. Dude, when I was watching the Jason or the Nightmare on Elm Street movies earlier, I think it was number 4, maybe 5. He's fused with Alice, and they're in the boiler room, and he's like pulling himself from her. Now, in not most, but in a lot of movies where there's like two people like fused together and they pull away, they're both pulling from each other side by side or back to back. In this, he's literally like, the back of his head is coming out of the front of her face. So when he's like way out here, their like tongues are fused, their teeth are fused, and it's all practical effect. And I'm like,
wow.
I love that somebody sat in a workshop, molded that, sculpted that, made that a rubber latex thing, and then put an animatronic inside of it. And then there's somebody with like a fucking remote control.
And got paid to do it.
It's a mind-blowingly amazing to me.
I love it.
It's brilliant, man.
That's what's wrong with a lot of horror movies today. They rely on all that CGI bullshit, and it's all overused.
Because you can tell. You can tell when it's fake. 100%. I mean, not every movie. Like, some movies it's hard to tell, but you know it's fake when it's fake.
Yeah.
Like, The Thing. The original Thing has the best special effects I've ever seen in a movie that are, like, real.
Yeah.
When that dude, when he's laying on the bed and his head just rips off and it grows spider legs and just fucking crawls away, I'm like, I hate this movie. But it's the best.
It had to be real. I mean, you could have just pressed a button on a computer and say, oh yeah, I did it.
No.
Somebody had to sit in a room for hours and say, how the fuck am I going to do this?
Right, back in the 80s, when your most high-tech thing was like this.
Yeah.
And even that was like, that's okay. But like when you see like, even still in the movie The Thing, when you see the pile of dogs that are just mutated, there's like 5 dogs that like get fused together and it's like a big melted pile.
Yep.
And I think it's Kurt Russell or Kevin Gossett Jr., whatever his name is, goes in there with a flamethrower and just... And you just see it like, literally, it's melting. Whatever they had there as a prop, they legit melted it, and they just filmed it melting.
Yep.
And it just was like, this is so fucking awesome. And I love horror movies because of that. Yeah. Because they go there and they try shit.
With how much money they put into movies now, they could do that shit.
But that's the problem. I mean? All the money's in the CGI and shit. Which is like, for one, I don't understand how the fuck it costs that kind of money to use a computer to create a fake
graphic
image.
Artists are a lot.
You're basically paying man hours to do it.
They're
That's
expensive.
really what it is.
That's retarded.
They're expensive. That's like being a game designer. They're expensive.
Retarded, because I played more shitty games than I've ever played good ones. So that should be a lot of asses fired.
I mean, have you seen like Arkham, like Arkham Knight? It's a beautiful game. There's a lot of games that are just beautiful, but most people want to get paid for it. You know,
that's crazy. The money in that? That's retarded.
Yep. And it kind of sucks too, because a lot of makeup artists that do even still some of the more traditional makeup on people are losing money now because it's CGI.
The CGI, it's so much quicker to just buff out.
But it looks so much. I don't understand because it looks so much better
when it's
putting
practical.
It on your face. Like if you look at Robert Englund doing a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, then you see the new shitty 2010 Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger. There is a world of difference. It actually looks really shitty. You should Google a picture of it, because it's the worst goddamn frame I've seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah, it's awful. I remember for some reason when it came out, because the dude's face was not built for it.
Terrible.
That Jackie Earle Haley's face was not built to be Freddy Krueger.
No.
I think it only just came right to the top of my head. Somebody that could have been a Freddy Krueger, Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah.
I feel Woody Harrelson could have been a good Freddy Krueger, but when the new Nightmare came out with Jackie Earle Haley as Freddy, his face was so thin, and he has such buck teeth. Yeah. Literally, people were saying that Freddy looked like a skinned rabbit. And it's like, oh, that's terrifying. Like, oh my god, I got Donnie Darko, a skinned rabbit. Like, and then when you see it, it's like, oh, that just looks stupid. And he's this tall. Robert Englund has a presence of just that lengthy... Even when he's standing in the very first fucking scene of the first Nightmare, and he's just standing there in the alleyway, and he's chinging like this.
Yep.
And then his arms start to stretch. Yeah, and he's walking down the alleyway.
Speaking more practical effects, that was created with 2 fishing poles.
Yeah? They just had him in his sleeves?
And they ran him across the alley.
See, I love that shit.
He looks like the kind of guy that if he was chasing you, he'd catch you no matter what because of his size and how lanky he is. He's just... You know what I mean?
I think the Nightmare on Elm Street movies lost their way because they, like, pretty much all horror movies of the 90s, 80s, and 90s, they started to get... what's the word I'm looking for? Parodies of themselves almost.
Yep.
They were
Yeah.
trying to one-up themselves by also adding this, well, if we
Something
keep it
unnecessary.
scary and we add a humor
Yeah,
or
something
this,
dumb. Right.
then people will be like, well, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah,
That's
way
not
too
always a
much
good
ha-ha,
thing.
you know,
It's
yeah.
sort of like when they transitioned from 2 to, I'm going to skip 3, the 2
Yeah.
to 4, with Michael Myers. So the 1 and 2, there was,
go right
he
to
just killed.
Let's talk right about Halloween.
Alright,
Let's go right into Halloween.
let's go into Halloween, because I'm ready to talk about Halloween.
Brother, I got it. Let's talk about Halloween. I got a whole page.
Alright.
Probably not nearly as much detail, but I've got just your basic. The year, who directed it, your main Michael Myers. Just so simple stuff.
So I got some trivia stuff here and here. I want to go through the whole movie, but I got some fun facts maybe you guys didn't know about the movie while they were making it.
Right.
I don't know if we'd be interested here.
Hey,
but,
throw whatever you got out there, because whatever you don't say, I'll fill in.
So John Carpenter hired Jamie Lee Curtis as a tribute to Alfred Hitchcock, who gave her mother a role in Psycho back in 1960. That's how she jump-started her career.
And she became the original, and I believe
Scream Queen.
Right. I think she's the only actress that I've literally been heard of that she is.
Yeah, well, they refer to her as that, but I think every series had, like, Tina.
Right, but even then, they
every-
don't stand
yeah,
out
no,
like
no, no.
Jamie Lee.
Well, they weren't as prominent as she was. They were just
Right.
random people.
And
but, yeah.
I would throw this out there because now she's been in multiple Halloween movies. Danielle Harris. She was
Yeah,
in 4.
yeah,
She was in
yeah.
5. She was in the 2 remakes.
Yep.
I wouldn't say she's an original Scream Queen,
No.
but I would throw her in there now
But
with the Jamie Lee Curtis name because I have.
When you get
Her
three,
name
when you
right
get
in
three
there.
Halloween movies underneath your belt, I mean, it's pretty good.
It really is. I mean,
Three
there's
of the original ones.
and there's so many actors that like have come from those movies. I thought I had a list of them, but I guess not.
Robert Englund worked on the set of Halloween,
The original.
dropping leaves in California
really?
to make it look like fall.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, when did the Nightmare movie? Because Halloween came out in '78.
Was
When
that
did Nightmare-
81?
Okay.
81.
Because I know Friday the 13th was like highly inspired by
Yeah.
Halloween.
They
I
all
didn't know
kind of
if-
were.
They had to be really.
I mean,
that's-
either take it from Halloween or you take it from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, see, and this kind of
You know.
we'll piggyback off the question you asked at the start of the show of what is each person's idea of horror. Halloween isn't really horror. It's slasher, right? They've always labeled that as a slasher.
Well,
horror.
slasher is a subgenre for it, but
Right, there
back
you go. That's
then-
the word we're looking for.
back then there
Right.
wasn't really a set definition of horror. It evolved and changed over time. Like you had the Blob, you had like Swamp
Birds.
Thing, but they weren't Michael Myers. They really stepped it up in 1978.
Yep.
74 really with Texas
Chainsaw.
Massacre. Well, really,
See, I would label
they're
that as a
different
horror.
movies.
Yeah.
So Texas Chainsaw Massacre is kind of your first slasher movie. It's very gory,
Oh yeah.
very jump scare-ish.
And the
Then you
imagery, it's terrifying too.
Oh,
Just
God.
the shit you see,
Yeah,
the
the
rotting
basement,
bodies, the basement,
Their
exactly.
family. It's
Yep, the grandpa and
Yeah.
shit.
The cover that used to creep me out so bad at the movie.
the
movie
the
store.
whole family together.
No,
One.
it was blue and it had Leatherface on it.
Was it the theater poster with the girl? How many will survive?
How many will
The-
survive?
Maybe.
Right, the
What
night
will
or
be
something
left
like
of
that.
them?
I would just see it on
Yeah.
the video
remember
rack.
that,
And
yeah.
Because I have the original one over there on
Too
DVD
scary.
in my
Yep.
horror DVD case. I think it's just. It's
Who's-
not the classic picture. It's just
Oh.
him, I think, just like running out of the house.
Yeah, they re-changed it when they re-released it.
And then when I have the
Different.
second one on Blu-ray, I think it's just like a foot and a chainsaw
Yeah.
laying next to each other. It's like, I want Dennis Hopper on the cover. Because he was in the second one. I want him.
Which is weird because I had notes about Dennis Hopper. He actually didn't like being
Yeah.
in that movie.
Because it was as fucked up as it was, right?
But yeah, he just didn't appreciate the horror genre, which was kind of changing at that time.
Which is so weird when you think 20 years later, there he is in Land of the Dead.
Yeah, well, I think he didn't understand at the time. Not a lot of people understood that slasher genre and where
Mhm.
it was actually going. So he's like, this is kind of low-hanging fruit with the gore and the blood.
Yeah, and a lot of them
shit.
consider
True.
themselves serious
I'm an
actors.
actor.
You know
I'm
what I
very
mean? Yeah.
serious.
Yep.
This
It's
is
kind of
very
like how
beneath
some
me.
actors are now with I don't want to do superhero movies
Yep.
and shit
Right.
like that.
Yeah,
Lowbrowing it. Which I get. I can totally, because at that time, that's very taboo
exactly.
to show that shit.
Right.
And especially once you saw Halloween when that came out of like, wow, they are so different.
Also, Halloween. We were talking about that. So
Yep.
Halloween, the horror thing, they were doing something different at the time, mostly because the budgets were about the same, but they had two different visions. So John Carpenter didn't rely on gore, guts, and blood. he relied on atmosphere in his movies. He relied on a very dark...
Tension.
He had the music to go along. He relied on the dark atmosphere to scare people.
That's why it's my favorite, is seeing those moments where you see Laurie just kind of daydreaming, and then you see her looking outside, and not
Michael.
even the fact that she sees Michael, that they keep showing you an empty image that's like, could he be in there? Where's he hiding? Like, that's what I used to think as a kid. It's like, can I see him? Like, is he just hiding behind the tree and I can't really see him? I love that kind of stuff.
My favorites for Michael are when he's laying on the ground and nobody sees him, and they're staring the opposite direction, and all you see is him just go
sit right
like
up.
this.
And it's like a blurred shot, and you just see it out of frame.
Or in the first one where they're the final fight there where she hides in the closet. You could see his mask in the dark. If you look really close, you could see it.
Right, just like the
and you know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
The lighting and atmosphere is so fucking good.
Yeah, the anticipation of something happening is sometimes
so
better
good.
than something actually happening.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
It is.
That movie was done at a $300,000 budget. Made $48 million, which is roughly equivalent to $296 million today.
Wow.
The biggest indie movie ever created, for the most part. I mean,
It was
the
huge
biggest.
hit.
Yep.
I can't talk right now.
And to start off a
amazing.
franchise like that for that small amount of money, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean,
So
most
what
of
happened to 2? Why was 2 so bad?
I love 2.
Wait a minute. No, 2 wasn't bad. 2 wasn't bad.
3
at all.
is the worst.
Something about the witches.
That
Season
was
of the
3.
Witch.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the worst.
2 is a continuation, is a piggyback off of 3rd. So it actually happens November 1st for some of it. It continues off from that night.
I
They
hate
go to
the
the
third
hospital.
one.
The third one was. The
There's
third one was
nothing
so.
to do with it.
The third one was so bad because 4, 5, and we're gonna get out of order here. So 4, 5, and 6 are about the curse of the thorns, which they gave Michael Myers as a way to kill his family. Yeah, he was cursed. You can see a tattoo on his wrist.
Mm-hmm.
So the third one was setting the whole 4, 5, and 6 up, but nobody really expected that kind of twist back then. Nobody cared about the curse of the thorns back. Nobody cared.
They just want to
An
see.
explanation. It just came out of nowhere. Like, oh yeah, then now this is why Michael Myers kill you, buddy. Because now there's the curse of the thorns.
Right, because they kind of ran the killing his sister.
Yeah.
And of course you got to carry that story, and then you bring in the niece.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
Paul Rudd, it was his debut in number 5
I think
or
it's-
6. He was like his nephew or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
6. It was 6.
It was like his nephew
Yeah,
or something. It's like,
It gets
how the
really
fuck
rough.
does he have nieces and nephews if he killed everybody?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There was a lot of it was.
He's kinda-
Yeah.
You look past that.
So that's weird. So he was running out of family members in like 5. So that cult.
Family reunions were getting real short, people.
So that cult
Real
that
lonely.
that abducted him was trying to have Michael have sex with Daniel Harris to have a baby to carry on the curse of thorns to kill more people. So that was the whole point of that thing, which is really weird.
Gets very
Jerry Springer
convoluted.
like. So it gets
Jerry,
Very-
Michael.
But no, so the first one is probably my favorite of all time for a lot of the reasons I just mentioned. Donald Pleasant is probably one of my favorite actors of all time, no matter what Holly movie it is, 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. Goddamn, he's a great actor.
Yep. Yeah, he's really good.
He's great. The new Loomis sucked. He's not great. The new 2018 one.
Oh, I thought.
Terrible.
Oh, that guy that was like pretending to be a Loomis. Yeah,
And the Loomis wannabe.
yeah, I didn't like him. I liked Michael McDowell playing
Yeah, I like
Loomis because I like him as an actor.
I was
so-
hoping, since Loomis hasn't died yet, technically in the 2018 series, because we're cutting a lot of those movies out, that Michael McDowell will come back, maybe the second or third one. Now that
and
that
be
old
that,
therapist is
and
dead,
be the Donald Pleasance
now
Loomis.
that he's dead, I was
That'd be
hoping it would
kinda
happen
cool.
because I really liked Michael McDowell as Dr. Loomis.
I didn't care
It was
for
good.
the second movie is so because of a lot of
Yeah.
thing. I didn't like
It
him
wasn't
in-
because of Michael McDowell.
but I didn't
or
like
McDowell,
him in that. I didn't like
but-
that he was an asshole in it.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, why would his ego go to his head now? Like, before he was, like, totally on board with the psychological helping of this
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Now he's like, I've got the best book ever, and look at my hair. Like, he's just like a pompous douchebag.
I think I blocked the second one out of my head for the most part.
I like the second one for
The
some
second
things,
had a
but
weird white horse Freudian reference. And it just
if you don't know it, why throw it even in there to make
and it was present throughout the whole movie.
the
It didn't
whole
stop.
movie. It drove me nuts.
So,
Like, I don't need that psychological conditioning of Michael Myers. I just need to know he was abused as a kid. He doesn't have this fucking weird psychological religious following in his head that you've never touched upon before.
Yeah, why expand more than you really need to?
Especially on a final. When you know you're not going to do a third one to expand more on that.
Right.
Because maybe that could have been the thorn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure they would have done something like that.
But it's like, you don't need to. Just leave it as a slasher flick of this dude just killing people on Halloween in Haddonfield.
A lot of people question Michael Myers' ability to drive. That was a huge hole in the plot for a lot of people. They're like, how the fuck do you do that? So they sort of explained it, sort of. He had sanity hearings for a lot of the years he was at the Grove Sanitarium.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be in the back of the car, and he would peer over through the divider of the car and watch drive, brake, gas. So that's sort of they sort of try to cover that.
I feel like that's ridiculous when fans start to really nitpick stuff like that. Because it's like, my biggest nitpick is the dude's conditioning. Yeah. How is he built like that, but yet never eats? And if he does eat, he's probably eating dead animals. So how does he have a physique like a fucking wrestler? Those are the things I would nitpick. Because I would think if this was like a big... He'd be a big gangly dude. Not a big Hulk! Oh, brother! Like, not like that, you know, dudes?
Well, I think, Tony Maine? Tyler Maine.
Talor.
He was the biggest Michael
huge.
Myers out of all of them. The rest of them were pretty big. They ranged from actually my size, 5'10", to about 6'3".
Was that Castle?
Dick Warlock.
Yep.
Was
Dick
5'10".
Warlock.
He was 5'10".
That's a real name, people. Dick Warlock.
Dick
he was like,
Warlock.
what, the third?
Yeah.
Michael Myers?
Yeah,
something like that.
He was
Dick
5'10". He wore 5-inch lifts.
Yep.
For the movie. So that's why I like Michael Myers too, because he's an everyday looking guy. Like if you pull back the mask, he looks pretty normal, minus the disfiguration that Nick Castle had in his face. Mm-hmm. It's pretty normal. That's the scariest thing about Michael Myers is he's not Freddy. He's not a weird demon. He's not Jason, a weird demon.
Right.
He's a human being.
A guy.
He's a man.
Is he? What is he?
Well,
because I saw that motherfucker blow up in almost every.
But no, not he's supernatural. But his appearance.
No, I hear you.
Is a man.
No, I totally agree with it. I totally because even I think it was.
But
I don't know which one, but where the kids are just trick or treating and they see a kid dressed up as Michael Myers. Looks like an average guy, so the fucking car just smokes him. Yeah. And then you find out that was
the second one.
Was it the second?
Oh no, sorry, the first one. That was the second one. Sorry, that was Ben Tramer. That was Ben Tramer. He was in a blonde Michael Myers mask.
Yes, you're right.
And he said,
"You're right.
Get back here! Get back!" He was insane. He's like, "Get back here, Michael Myers! I'm gonna shoot the fuck out of you!" And he ran in the middle of the road, and the cop car just
smoked his ass,
killed him. Yep. But that's the scariest thing about it. Michael Myers doesn't have to be a big guy because he wasn't played by some big guys. Most of them were like 6'3".
That's
till you get to Tyler Maine, but he's 6'8". So I'm saying the difference between 6'3" and 6'8" is a lot.
So you're telling me right now, if they did Halloween, the sequel, the next one that's coming out in like a year or two,
that guy's not even that big either,
and they got Danny DeVito to be Michael Myers, you're gonna be scared?
Greatest movie ever.
Are you gonna be scared? Are you gonna be like, yo, fucking, that's terrifying? Or are you
no,
like,
what I'm
stop,
saying is because
get back in your fucking room.
Well, Danny DeVito's not 5'10".
Right,
he's like that. But I'm saying Michael Myers. I like the range of Michael Myers of 5'10" and 6'3".
No, I agree.
The 6'8" was a lot of like you were talking about. This
like, how does your conditioning?
Like you've seen the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Gunner.
Yeah.
He was a big fat beer belly motherfucker.
Yep.
He was like 6'3", but he was.
I'm surprised they brought him back for like one of the newest Texas Chainsaw Massacres. I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, but Andrew Bodarski, who was in 2003, was like a big fucking bodybuilder.
Yeah, he was huge. He was
so
really
I think
big.
they all kind of do that in the horror movies. It's a lot of overkill. They're like, we just gotta get the biggest, strongest guy.
Well, because unless it's someone like Freddy.
But I mean, Michael Myers doesn't have to be big to be scary. Is my point.
No, I get that. I get his whole presence, the lore of it, everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I'm looking down a hallway and I see someone like Freddy that's skinny, but he's not Freddy, he's just skinny, dressed like Michael Myers, I'll be like, I could probably take you.
Yeah.
But then if it's someone like Freddy, that's skinny and his arms start to stretch, I'm starting to run.
Yeah, well,
Because like I can't take you.
Freddy's
So
also burnt.
But no, that's the mindset.
He's got, like, maggots
No,
going
no,
from his
you're,
mouth.
see, you're getting away from what I'm saying. If it's someone built, if you saw me at the end of the hallway, dressed like Michael Myers with a knife, I would hope your first thought is, I probably could beat that guy up. He's not that big. But if you saw a guy my size with fucking 10-inch or 10-foot long arms with razor blades on the end of them, that's a different story. Mm-hmm. If I saw a big guy dressed as Michael Myers, I would be like, oh, I'm probably going to get my ass kicked by him, regardless if his arms are stretching or not. It's just, my mindset is totally different on...
Yeah.
It's how you're perceiving the threat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying I would kill that guy with the knife at the end of the hall, regardless of his size, but I would contemplate whether or not I could.
Yep. Makes total sense.
Yeah.
That's
mean,
just
but
my mindset.
I just feel it's overkill. I like the 5'2" to 6'3" range. That's where the 6'8" is great. It's intimidating.
That is,
of course, it's intimidating. Nobody wants to stare down a 6'8" man.
But it is ridiculous
and
to have
mommy issues.
To have that, because I mean, Jesus Christ, how many psychopaths are really that big? I mean, probably a lot, but I don't know.
I mean, he's in a fucking insane asylum. There's no weights in the insane asylum.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is it? This guy that's painting.
He's lifting up other patients above his head.
Right. But I'm, like, picture the Rob Zombie Mike Myers where he is making paper mache masks all day.
Yeah.
How are your biceps this big then?
Right.
Doing CrossFit in between.
Right, like maybe you got like really strong fingers because you're like doing shit like Macho Man. You're so tense, like oh yeah. But like, how are you huge?
I guess they can just pass it off as like the Glander thing, like with the Big Show. Like he's just a big man naturally, but it's just I don't.
But you don't explain that either. So
well,
you're using
a lot of things aren't explained in Halloween.
But like you're saying, the overusing.
Yeah.
You're using the fact that he's big to be scary.
Right.
Which I get. I totally get.
Which is fine in some aspects. Some people really like it, but I like that Michael Myers is just scary based on his presence and you being in there in the room with him. Mm-hmm. No matter how tall he was, maybe it's Danny DeVito, but maybe
I would laugh
so
so hard. But I would look at Danny DeVito, Michael Myers, and be like, "This is only gonna end two ways, bud.
Yeah, bud.
Me kicking your ass. And that's about it."
If it's Danny DeVito, I don't care about the rules. He's got to talk through the mask. I want to hear talk.
He has to,
like,
right?
Like stabbing people in their kneecaps.
Ah, fuck you! Joe Pesci, I guess. I don't know.
Joe Pesci.
I would love it. I would love it.
You're Robert De Niro.
Oh boy. What Halloween did we leave off on, or are we not going in any particular order?
We're still on the first one.
You kind of been bouncing around. So.
Well, that's kind of like what I want to kind of do.
We go to the second one if you want.
Well, let's not do each one individually. Let's kind of just bounce around with the Halloween, with just whatever, like, because they're not all that interesting of movies, other than the subtle little plot points of like the cult shit, him killing the sister and stuff like that. I mean, behind the scenes stuff is great, but movie wise, there's not really much to them. They're all really the same layout.
Yeah, well, I mean that's the same with most slashers.
Most slashers, exactly. That's what I was kind of going with. But I mean, like the actors that have been in these movies.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Are there other horror movies that Donald Pleasance has been in?
No, not notable ones.
Really?
I think there's
Isn't that's kind of crazy to think.
I think he just kind of stuck with Halloween back. He died in like '95, so he was.
Yeah, for like
life.
20, like that. I would just figure he would have been like sugar sprinkled throughout something else, maybe or whatever.
Typecast into horror.
Right, like typecasted
But
exactly
I mean,
at that point.
Think of how many Jasons that played Jason have really gone on to do anything else after.
Oh no, well, how many?
A lot of people are Michael Myers. Like Nick Castle hasn't really done much since his original appearance. Mike Myers, neither has Tony Moran.
Well, because if your face isn't really seen, you're not really.
Well, they like him because of his presence. I mean, they probably could have done something else with him, like if they wanted to. But I don't know. Some actors just like the movies that they're in, and they feel comfortable playing. And maybe he only felt comfortable being Dr. Loomis in horror movies. He did other movies.
That
fantastic
bastard.
But
like we said, we had Danielle Harris.
Yep.
Who she was in? I just watched it not long ago. See No Evil 2.
Yeah.
Which I think
I haven't seen that one.
I think that one was honestly better than the first. I think the first one was okay, but the second one felt like a real horror movie. It felt like, this is... And then there's a huge shock, like the third act. I'm like, they fucking seriously just did that. I can't believe they just did that. And I thought, well, what's the point of watching the rest of the movie? because it just was so weird.
Kind of.
But it is kind of a good ending. I liked it. Paul Rudd, that was his debut, was in 6.
Yep.
He's gone on to become one of the biggest fucking movie stars. He's gonna be on one of his next biggest movies. Is gonna be Ghostbusters. Josh Hartnett was in Resurrection.
Right.
Who's been in a bunch of different shit.
I would leave that off my acting resume. Just pretend it didn't exist.
LL Cool J, that's like the only one he puts on his acting
that was my
resume.
evil
It's exactly what
That's
it does.
the only one.
It's really funny because we were talking about that, and who was it? And Jamie Lee Curtis was on the walkway doing a hype up for the new Halloween movies. He's like, and you were in Halloween Resurrection too, right? She's like, oh, was I? She forgot the fucking movie completely. She had no idea. She's like, oh yeah, I think I was in that one. Can we talk about something else now?
Yeah, LL Cool J popping in like, yeah, I was a security guard, and I did a lot of things. I'm like,
I busted a cap right by
Forget
Myers'
about Deep
ass.
Blue Sea. I was only in that movie.
I was in this movie. It was so good.
Michael Myers, you little bitch.
I think I died. I don't remember. I think he died.
Yeah.
I was a black man. I have to die.
I'm the only black man.
The only black man who doesn't die in horror movies is Tony Todd.
Oh man, he's the best. He's great. He's
And
so
all
great.
those actors have played those black exploitation movies, but I don't like those. There's like a lot of like, have you seen like Blackula?
No, I never got into those because they just were stupid.
They are stupid and they're weird because they're really racist, man. Like,
Well, I
they're
don't mind that.
Well, I mean, they're like,
It's
it's like Disney in like the 40s kind of shit with the scarecrows and stuff. It's,
Okay.
it's very weird.
See, I never got into it because they just seem like. I wanted my horror movies as a kid to feel real, and they just I remember looking
You
at
don't
a
want
case
those,
of
man.
that and thinking, this is the guy from like Samson and Son or whatever the fuck that
Sanford and Son.
Sanford and
Yeah,
Sons.
okay.
Like, this is that black guy dressed up as Dracula. I
It's
don't
the
think
big
it was,
one.
but
It's the big one.
Red
Here I
Fox.
come.
yeah, that guy. Like, this just looks awful.
You know, they were going to have Eddie Murphy play the part of Candyman if Tony Todd didn't take the role.
I would have been alright with that. I think Eddie Murphy would have really got
He
into
would have
that.
talked to animals, of course, in that role.
Yeah.
Once he was killing
Yup,
people.
he would have been in all different size suits. I'm a fat candy man. Don't eat your candy. It's like, it's not that kind of candy man, dude. He's not like a candy man driving around in like a candy truck and shit.
Yeah.
I love Tony Todd. He's got that voice of just
He's classics.
Salazar or whatever the fuck his name was.
And we were talking about because he's like one of the only black serial
in
killer horror
Flash.
movies out there, you know?
Oh.
Which is
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
The Speed God.
Uh-huh.
He was, I believe he was the voice in it. Or no, Zoom. Zoom.
Oh, Zoom.
He was the voice of Zoom in season 2. He was the voice of Zoom in season 2.
and that's one of the only black
Freak me
serial
out.
killers really out there, like horror, basically like in a horror movie. I mean,
Oh no,
besides,
OJ.
Besides black exploitation in real life horror, besides black
oh.
exploitation, he's it. He's
Okay.
the man. As far as
You're probably right, because I mean, he's got there's probably like what 3 or 4 Candyman movies at least. They're making a new one, which I don't even think he's in. Which how do you even do that?
Cat Williams is gonna be in it.
Oh Christ!
Fucking with you. Cat Williams is gonna be the new Candyman.
I don't even want. Like I can't
He's
even.
like off
We're
the
gonna wrap
radar
this up. I need to go like
He
sleep.
went away.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
there's memes of him that are still lingering, but he went away.
I do. I love the Candyman movies. They terrified the fuck out of me as a kid. I didn't want to look into a mirror, but I also did. I wanted to say Candyman all the time, but I was like,
Yeah.
no.
It's one of those things where you don't want to try it, but you do want to
do,
try it.
yeah.
Like,
Am I still alive? Because I tried it earlier. I'm okay.
Bloody
I did. I
Mary.
loved Tony. I actually just bought last night Final Destination 5.
Oh really?
Ooh.
I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah.
Very
The
forced.
roller coaster one?
No, this is
That's the Final Destination.
no. Is it the final?
Yeah.
Because I have a box set of 3. I didn't know there was a 4th. I didn't know there was a 5th till I bought the 5th.
That's the fourth one. The Final Destination.
The 5th one though wraps it all up. It's a prequel to all of it.
Oh.
Because when the 5th one ends, the very first one starts on the airplane.
Oh.
You see the characters from the 5th one get onto that airplane, and then
Cool.
you see the fighting with those kids that were like, "Oh, we gotta get off the airplane!"
Yeah.
And then it blows up.
The Final Destination one I'm thinking.
But Tony Todd is in
Oh.
the Final Destination movies
Oh.
because he's like an angel of death almost.
That makes sense for Tony Todd.
Yep. He was
Very
in a new one that just came out, Hellfest. He was like a ringleader. Very.
yeah, you've talked about that one.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
he asked me to watch that. It's about the circus.
Yeah,
right?
it's like
You
it's like
said?
a giant amusement park
They
that's like
kill 'em
dedicated to
and
Halloween.
They don't know if they're being killed.
Yeah,
by,
and Tony Todd is just like the ringleader guy in a certain part.
And you don't
of-
find out who the killer is. Right? He told me. You don't
Yeah,
find
no,
out.
you never. You don't. I liked it.
I like to
thought
think
it
it's Tony Todd just because. He's
Well,
Tony
you
Todd.
see his skin and you can tell he's white. So with Tony Todd being black,
Maybe
that's a bit
he
of an M. Night Shyamalan
He
twist.
painted himself. He's whiteface.
Whiteface?
Yeah.
Can you do that in 2019? That's
course.
it. I'm going yellow face. I'm
Probably
bringing
more than
Asians
you can do
back.
blackface, you know. But.
You should have done like a light brown.
Oh God.
Done like a light brown face.
Oh man.
Is that bad? Are you gonna
I
arrest
don't
me?
know.
Oh boy.
It's thing.
But Joseph Gordon-Levitt was in Resurrection, or H2. I'm sorry, not Resurrection. LL Cool J was in that, and then we got to get to Resurrection though, because Busta Rhymes was in it.
I'm gonna get to it all right.
Tyra Banks was in it.
I gave a review of that movie once. I put a camera at the movie and I just started stomping it really hard.
I wish we could add that to the show. That would have been great, because that movie is bad.
It's terrible.
Now, the ending of H2O was a guy dressed up as Michael Myers, right?
Well, that was the theory. Yeah.
What is
you
like?
Can't, you can't ever tell because they never takes a match. She chops his head off.
Right, and you just see like the.
But the ending is great because she drives over Michael Myers. He careens down a cliff. He's pinned between a truck and
A fence,
a
right?
trunk of a tree.
That's what it is, yes.
And he's reaching out to her like he loves her and stuff.
Yep.
And it's just, fuck you, Michael Myers. She chops
And then you see his head
right
lob off.
But it was one of the few times besides when he's chasing his niece. 'Cause remember, he's chasing his niece, and she starts talking. He goes, "Hey, uncle, is that you?" And she starts getting all lovey-dovey with him, and he takes his mask off.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a normal guy. You see a tear roll down his cheek,
Right.
and then she wipes it from his face, and then of course he puts his
Puts
mask
it back on
and starts
quickly.
trying to stab her again. But that's the only times that you really see any humanity really bleed through Michael Myers. It's really kind of heartbreaking to see her chop her head off. You knew it had to happen.
Right.
But after you see him reach his hand out, he's really helpless. It's really
Well, so what is the theory then that it wasn't him? Just people saying it couldn't have been him?
cool because he was in Resurrection.
Okay.
So they just said, like, yeah, it was a guy dressed as Michael. Kind of like Ben Tramer where he dressed as Michael Myers.
Right.
Yeah, apparently there's a bunch of people that like to dress up like Michael Myers. Halloween,
Okay.
you get shot in Haddonville because that's what happens when you dress like Michael Myers.
Right, people are just out to get your ass. Because me being a kid, I remember being like, oh, well, he's dead.
Yeah.
And then as I got older, just hearing people, like, talk to my friends, being like,
Yeah, he's not-
oh, no, that wasn't him.
Nope.
The fuck you mean it wasn't him? Why would some other guy just want to go terrorize this woman for the sake of the benefit of
And you
Michael
could really
Myers?
tell him because if he followed him from the hospital, jumped on the truck, there was nobody else that was dressed as Michael Myers, as far as you could tell. It was him.
Who knows all this shit's even happening to be able to prepare to do this anyways in a manly time?
Well, nobody, except
Right.
for the police.
It's Loomis!
The police, yes, Loomis.
You goddamn cops! Or he wasn't a cop, but you guys suck, you Hawkins sheriffs.
It was Tommy Doyle the whole time.
Oh my
You and
god.
your goddamn egos.
Yep. I love that guys.
Huh. We're getting out of control. I love all the Halloween movies though. Oh, and that's it really for celebrities that I knew of that jumped out to me for those movies.
In those movies, oh yeah, that was pretty much it. A lot more B actors. They went on to had some like decent careers. They've had like small TV roles and stuff, but nothing.
Yeah, LL Cool J was in that Rollerball movie.
I heard he made a couple albums too.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Rollerball with Kevin Kline.
Yep.
Oh god.
Where they're
Rebecca
fucking-
Romaine.
Bam! 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 I don't remember that movie at all.
Paul
That was a
Heyman's
good
in that
movie.
movie.
Jesus Christ.
Pauline.
Oh, I didn't even walk.
God, you don't even know who he is. He's the greatest fucking genius in professional wrestling ever. Paul Heyman. Paul E. Dangerously.
Started ECW.
Oh my god.
That's a horror show with itself. Jesus fucking
He's in that
Christ.
movie, really?
Yeah.
As Paul Heyman?
He's the commentator for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's commentating with him?
Rollerball.
I don't remember who else was in it.
I have
Who
to
else
see
was
that
in
now
it?
just because of Paul Heyman. I didn't know that.
Because when he was telling the people in ECW that he was going out to secure a TV deal, he was actually filming
Filming
scenes
that.
for Rollerball. Yeah.
So they wouldn't know he's getting paid? I didn't know that.
Paul Heyman should be the new Dr. Loomis. My client.
My
Michael
client,
Myers.
Michael Myers, is
That's the best thing
psychotic.
I've heard all day.
He is the one inside his head that is killing everyone. That would be great.
He's really good
Let's-
at cutting promos back in his ECW days, and even in WWE, he would be great at that role. I think he's insane. I believe he's clinically insane.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got to be
Um,
diagnosed psychotic.
So I would love to see that. He's got the bald head that Loomis had in the top.
Let's
He's-
hashtag Paul Heyman movement for Loomis
Brock
2020.
Lesnar will kill him instead of fucking LL Cool J. Instead will come and do an
Have Brock
F5.
Lesnar be Michael Myers.
Brock Lesnar's gonna come in and kill Nick Castle and become Michael now. Now we're gonna have the biggest, beefiest Michael Myers you'd ever seen.
It would not be hard to kill
With
Nick
a tramp
Castle.
stamp.
Imagine a big guy that walks around like this with a butcher knife. Like, what do you need that for, you fucker? You gotta pick my skin out of your teeth after you eat me? You know, watching one of the Nightmare movies earlier, there is a scene where Freddy becomes Super Freddy. And they literally put him in like a muscle suit and everything. Is like, this is ridiculous. The stoops that we have gone down to. Like, he's got a big lightning bolt across his chest. He's got his arms out like this. He's got a cape on. And the kid is sitting there like beating him up. And he's like, I don't remember how he says it. He goes, I'm loonier than a man that dresses up as a bat. I'm quicker than a man that's faster than a bullet. I'm Super Freddy.
That's fucking
I'm like, this is super fucking bad, man. Like, bad.
What drugs were you on when you thought of that?
I don't know, man, but I wish I was still on them. Oh, you mean the movie guys? Oh, okay, yeah, man. What did you think of have you seen? I know you haven't seen the Halloweens, but have you seen the newest Halloween?
No.
Oh.
The newest
Get out
one?
of here.
Both
Go in
of
your
you.
car. You drive to your
You
house.
take him back to the border and stay. Andale. Right? Am I being politically correct or no?
Who the fuck? Since when are we politically correct?
I'm Hulk Hogan, so no, I'm not. You
brother.
goddamn right, you brothers. Oh, we've gone off
Michael
the
Myers, we coming for you.
Now I'm the big worm. Because he had a cigar.
Have you guys seen any of the Halloween movies?
I've seen the
Speaking
first
of it,
one.
'cause
I
the
saw
music's
first
on.
one. I saw the first one. I just
Maybe.
don't remember, a lot about it. But.
Parts
So
of
this
several.
crazy guy in a white mask kills a bunch of babysitters.
Babies. Leave out the word sitters, just for suspense. Just say
They
the
kill
babies.
babies. That's so
Yeah, but
Failing
so
babies.
weird. Yeah,
dude,
speaking
no.
of
Can
babies-
we talk about the newest one then in the
speaking of
baby scene?
babies, so in the new one,
Yes.
he murders this chick
I'm into this
in the
right now.
house. Walks in the other room. You hear the baby crying. He looks at the baby for about 2 seconds, plays around with his knife, then walks right out the front door.
Right. That's so fucked up to me. More than killing the baby.
Leaving
Because
it there
He
to die.
murdered his mom.
and then left the
Left the
baby.
baby.
The baby's gonna die.
That baby is going to be the new Dr. Loomis anytime. He has very severe psychological
That baby is
scarring.
Arthur Fleck from the Joker movie. It's all wrapped up together, folks. No, see that one moment. I say that when I tell people about the new Halloween, is like that's the most fucked up part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
The most fucked up part. He could have made the dude's head out of a jack-o'-lantern, which was great. But to leave that baby there.
And that's another, even though it's very cruel, it's another weird human part of Michael Myers. He didn't want to just viciously murder this child that was making all that noise. He just, I don't know if he looked at that kid
and saw
and saw
Laurie, saw
himself
himself, right?
when he was in 1978 when he was a kid, or Judith when she was a baby,
Right.
and said, oh, maybe not. I can't cross that line.
Babies are innocent.
Yeah.
So if the baby lives after I walk out of here, that's it's one thing
It's
or
on him.
another.
He's
That
gone.
fucker should just not play with knives.
Exactly.
Now, did you get this? Because I'm asking. Did you get that at Walmart? You said
Yeah.
how much? It was like 20.
No, my girlfriend bought it. I think it was like $20.
They've added a lot to the
Yeah, I
collectible
just
sections
saw
now.
the one from the new Halloween there. I want to get.
Yeah, so I think NECA does a lot of the
Yep.
those products. So
Yep.
they have
Because
great
they're realizing
rewards.
that shit sells like crazy.
There was this
No,
really
it's
great
great.
one. I wanted to buy when the movie came out. Halloween came out. They
Yeah.
had a set. It was Halloween. It was this Michael Myers house,
Oh, cool.
and you could put him on from his house.
Yeah.
And he had Judith's tombstone right by the house,
Oh,
and a
that'd
couple of
be cool.
jack lanterns and stuff. It was like $300, but it was. If you wanted a display piece for your house, it was
And you're a
Halloween,
big fanatic like that,
that would
yeah.
have been the thing to get. It looked good.
That is. Well, I have William Shatner in my back room just so I can make molds constantly of his stupid face. So, Bill, you're all right, guy.
Throw you an M&M later.
Right. It will get to you soon. Is that how he talks, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like cut scenes when you
Move
talk.
like a robot, and then just exactly.
I was on a spaceship.
He's making sleep apnea masks commercials now.
He does everything.
No!
Is that
You
because
saw
his movies
one
put
Darth
people to sleep?
Vader.
He's a big money whore. Anything. Hey, will you
Commercials.
sell tickets for us? HotTravel.com. Oh yeah, sure.
Oh,
HotTravel.com. I'll do
We'll get a
that.
nice
With that
looking
Kaylee
girl to
Coco
play
girl,
with.
let me see her butthole. I'm pretty sure he said that. I think that's in his like contracts. I have to see the girl's butthole I work with. Stare her deep into the face, into the soul of the butthole. It's a Halloween special, folks. We're talking all sorts of crazy shit.
That's a nice looking butthole.
So
Being a fan of the Halloween movies, though, were you upset or were you okay with it, like erasing all the other ones, like the newest one that came out, like it being the sequel?
I wasn't okay with it for
And
a
then you
long
became okay
time
with it?
until I heard John Carpenter was
Yep.
going to be involved in it. Then I was okay with it because
Yeah.
Halloween 1 was his baby.
Yep.
So I knew he wasn't going to fuck anything up during it. And that director did,
David Gordon Green.
wasn't going to fuck it up because John Carpenter would get up his ass.
Well, him, David Gordon
And-
Green, and Danny McBride went
Danny
to
McBride, yeah.
David Carpenter, John Carpenter's house, and were like, "We need your blessing before we even go anywhere with this." Which, like, that's the way you should do it.
Yep.
If you're gonna do a new
Yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street, you go to Wes Craven.
Yeah.
He's still alive,
Sign of
right or no?
respect.
If he's alive.
If he's
I don't-
alive,
I
because
don't
he's not
remember.
alive anymore. But
Right,
if he was
right.
alive,
That's why I'm like, wait a minute. As I'm saying this, I'm pretty sure he died.
now you go to his son.
Right. You go.
Yeah.
You go to the
Go-
fucking people, man. You don't just say.
Actually, I would go to Robert Englund.
Well, both of them.
He's
Yeah.
a legend. He's the out of all the slasher movies, he was the only consistent man playing that role.
8
Besides
movies.
the one I forget, but I used the MIB laser right in front of my fucking eyes when I saw it, and just forgot the whole movie. So it died when it died.
I have it. You want to borrow it? You can remember it all over again. It's such great horrific fantasy.
Would you like it back in one piece? Because I don't think I could do that.
I'm not understanding the question. Yeah,
But
we'll just.
let's give you a visual display.
Oh,
He would have to have. Even if he wasn't going to be in it, it's kind of like getting the blessing to do another Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
You'd have to drive it by Sam Raimi, and you'd have to
Ted Raimi,
Bruce Campbell.
Bruce
Because
Campbell, right.
They have to approve it, because if you don't run anything by them, the movie's going to be shit.
Oh, yeah. Even if the fans hear that you didn't run it by them, especially if they hear, oh, they didn't even like go to them for references or
Nothing.
anything. I would instantly be like, well, that's going to be a bad fucking movie. I'd like them to make the sequel based on the one that came out in like 2013.
Yeah.
Because I really did like that movie because
It was good.
they stepped away from it to being comedic. They really tried to make
I
it like a
like-
horror.
I liked the comedic
No,
aspect,
me
but,
too.
but
Me too.
only because it was Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell plays a really great slapstick horror actor.
Yep.
He's great at it.
Yep. Yeah, just because I don't know what his quote is exactly, but I'll paraphrase it. He's just saying, when he said he's done being Ash, he goes, you know, it's enough. This one idiot has saved the world enough. It's time for the next idiot to just come in and save. Like, that's just his
I like
his
it.
character of human is, fuck it, you know, whatever. Like, nonchalant, but yet, let me get the girdle. I gotta go save the day. Like,
The beginning of, because I don't remember much of it. I watched it when it first came out, but the first episode where he was in the bathroom fucking some chick, and all of a sudden he pulls her hair back, and it turns to a deadite.
deadite?
I pissed myself. That was so fucking funny. He
All
finished. He finished. The deadite changed back to a human, and he fucking finished
Yup.
in the bathroom.
yo,
It was
that show is the best.
fantastic.
That really
That was
is.
something.
That show really is great. It really is great.
I made it
The
through season
dead,
one.
or what is he called? Creepy kids in the basement. When Pablo is like puking up all the fucking little babies, and he's chasing around the basement. He's like, "Get back here, creepy kid!"
Yeah.
It's like I love all that shit.
Like when he cut his hand off in Evil Dead 2, and it leaps off his hand and flips him off when he's running back to the mouse. You son of a bitch.
Yeah. And like, how many times through the movies and that show, the 3 seasons, did he fight himself so many times?
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't believe that joke didn't get old. Like,
It was funny to see him hurt himself.
it
just
really
hilarious.
was. Even when he would look into a mirror and he'd see himself and he'd shatter the mirror, and then there's like 5, 6 little miniature versions of him jumping out of the mirror, and he's boiling them, he's eating
his ass
them, and he's
kicked,
sticking them with forks and shit. It's like, this is just.
Oh my god.
How do you go from the first Evil Dead to this just ridiculousness that became awesome?
And the third
I love
one,
it.
the third one with the terrible CGI skeleton.
But it's so good.
The worst
Oh,
fight
I
scene
love
you ever
it.
see with a CGI skeleton.
They're all
is
like-
so awesome. at
It
the
is
same
so
time.
awesome.
It's
It
so
is so
cheesy.
good.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
so
cheesy.
cheesy.
When they show the demon skeleton flying away, and it's just, you can tell it's the worst green screen and visual effects, but it's like, yes, this is the best movie ever right now.
Or
I
when
love
he's,
it.
Or he's trying to remember the curse. Karata, Narku,
No, for it,
neck
no.
tie.
He's when he's actually got the book up on the pedestal,
And
yeah.
he goes,
Huh? Anything happen? No? Alright. Yeah, that shit was great. I love the Evil Deads, and I'm glad like a character like him is synonymous, like goes so side by side with like the classic horror villains.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Which is weird because he's not a villain; he is a hero. They've done the comic book Freddy versus Ash versus Jason. Tons of this shit. I mean, Ash vs. Evil Dead is huge. They've had video games based off of it.
Yep.
Toys. Obviously the 4 movies, the
Yep.
3 seasons.
Classic.
And he
I
was.
just watched them.
He was in the 4th movie, even though it was a cameo at the very, very end. It was still cool to because he looked like the version from the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because he had the longer hair, he had like the big tan jacket on, and he had the long streak. He looked like the version of himself from season 3, which was like, whoa, that's kind of weird. But Bruce Campbell is he's the man anyway. Bruce Campbell is the fucking man. I would love to meet that guy.
Do you know that S-Mart is a chain of grocery stores in Mexico?
Is it really?
It is.
Why are you asking me?
Did you know that? Interesting.
Why didn't you ask him?
Escobar?
He should know
Do you
this.
shop there?
I mean, sometimes it's.
Character, people,
I
character!
like to come across the border to do my shopping.
I knew it. Them
And I go,
sons of
Everything's
bitches.
cheaper over the
You
border.
you come over here, you take advantage of our really attractive little white women, and you go to our price choppers and you buy out all the best produce, and you go back over to the
Walmart's
border.
Electronics and buy shitloads of TVs.
You buy all the oranges, and then you go and you sell them on my side of the roads. And
I don't know if you guys knew this, but number 2,
ay.
number 2, really didn't do well. It was in the green, but barely. I think it
For
was-
the-
I
like
think
the
it was
movie?
The Evil Dead by Dawn. I think it was like 1,000.
Is that what it was called? Dead by Dawn?
Yes.
Really?
I've
But
like,
if you watch the movie, the people that are possessed, the bitch that's the witch bitch
Yeah.
that's underneath the in the basement,
Yeah.
Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn. They all say it in the movie. Dead
see,
by
I've
Dawn.
had it on
Dead by
VHS
Dawn.
and like 3 DVDs. I've
The
never seen
room
it called
turns
that.
red.
Right.
And you see the Dead by Dawn. Dead by Dawn.
Well, at that point,
Yeah.
you might as well call The Shining Red Rum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I got it. Anyways.
Red Rum.
But. Let's
That movie's great.
See,
Is that on the
Halloween.
list?
I have Dr. Sleep on here. I have a whole
Okay,
Stephen King
cool.
list.
Speaking of special effects that aren't or practical effects, when the people are the possessed versions of themselves in the movie, they put in white contact
Yep.
lenses, and they were blind by those contact lenses. So they were running around the set blind.
Wow.
They had to literally remember the layout of the rooms.
Could you imagine
I know
having
where
to
I
do
wanna
that?
go.
Because it's not just, here's your mark, go from there to here. It's
Yeah.
You're going to have to probably get
Yeah.
thrown onto a wall, go upside down, probably go through said wall. We'll figure that out when we get there.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're going to get covered in 10 gallons of blood,
Shot at.
all while this is happening. Right, while you're getting shot at and your cat's on fire.
Yep.
You know, be frantic about it. That's pretty much the style of...
If you die, you
Evil
die. You know, it didn't look
You're
like-
already dead at this point. You're a deadite.
So they had to stop some of the filming sometimes because, as everybody knows, this cabin was a remote location
Oh, yeah.
for hunters.
Yep.
Hunters would
Oh.
shoot in that spot, and they would have to stop filming
Stop.
for them. So
What a creepy cabin it was, too. Obviously, I've seen the movies a million times, but the image of you just seeing the cabin with, like, the moonlit trees behind it, and then you
It's
just
just
see,
like
like, the
a creepy
smoke. Because you just know there's a tree out there gonna rape you.
And that chair out front, is always moving. It's always rocking back and forth. By the way, every time you go see a front seat, that chair is moving.
The shutters are just...
Even if there's no wind, the chair's moving.
It's a creepy movie.
Yeah.
But you laugh. There are trees in the movie that rape.
They do.
They're
And
raping
weeds.
trees. Raping
Weeds.
roots and trees. and
Trees.
you just don't want to be any part
That
of it.
scene was cut out in I think
Nosferatu,
the Icelandic
too.
and German versions of the movies, and were banned in those countries for like 25 years, and they just
Because it was too scary?
Just
because it was rapey.
ratings. I know it's like at the MPBA over there. I don't know how their standards are for the United States versus Germany and Iceland, but they banned them for redistribution over there, so they had to repress
Iceland,
them.
I can understand, but Germany?
Germany,
Some of the fucked up
We
shit
threw
that comes out of
babies in
Germany?
fires, but we are offended by raping trees.
Oh, you'll appreciate this one. So the practical effects in Evil Dead, the stabbing sounds were made by repeatedly stabbing dead chickens that they had purchased at the grocery store.
No, oh, okay. I was gonna say, were the chickens dead prior?
Yeah, they were dead.
Because see,
Like the whole roast chicken.
Mr. Creative, I would have used the first squawk of a dead chicken as a good sound effect for my movie, and then the rest of the body would have been, you know, an effect.
So that tape recorder that's so famous in the first of two movies was owned by Bruce Campbell's dad.
I feel like I've known that.
It's interesting.
I like
some more lore there.
I could just picture that fucking thing laying on the ground right now with the tape recording. That's what it sounds like, because it's hard to understand. You wouldn't get it! You guys just don't get it! Back in my day, we had tape recordings that didn't sound like real people, instead of your damn iPhone TVs.
What the fuck's a tape?
I don't know where that came from.
The blood.
Is all of it?
Caro syrup, non-dairy creamer, and red food coloring. At one point, Bruce Campbell's shirt that he wears in the film was so saturated with fake blood, after drying it by the fire, their shirt became solidified and broke when he tried to put the fucking thing back on.
Yep. Wow. They had to have, like, during the seasons, too, the show, they had to have multiple outfits, because he even says on one of the commentaries, he's like, could you imagine the continuity from the beginning of just one episode to the end of it, how covered in blood we would be?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and you guys are always covered in blood. Like, I couldn't imagine any more. Like, it just...
There was no, like, hey, guys, I'm gonna hop in my trailer real quick and fucking wash up here. They just wanted to shoot the fucking thing.
Right.
Get it over with,
and it's a satire of a movie.
Yeah.
So people are looking at it like, well, Jesus, he just gutted that woman and she bled all over him, and I don't see her... You're right. Like, Jesus Christ, she was a deadite. Why aren't you trying to figure that part out?
Well, Michael Myers is driving in the background. Where did he learn how to drive?
Right. How does he have a license?
Is he an Uber driver? What is going on?
Is he getting paid? How can he see through that mask? Can he breathe? Is he okay?
He can turn his head.
Did he eat yet? I didn't see that scene. When does he go to the bathroom?
Why doesn't he just tear the steering wheel off? He's so huge.
Just get a job.
How does he drink water? There's not even a hole in the mask. How does he drink water?
Oh my God, he must be so dehydrated.
Jesus Christ, must be a catheter in his pants.
Dr. Loomis is looking at this all the wrong way. He's looking at the psychological. You got to look at the physiological. This is just fucked. We're breaking down horror movies 101. Is that it for Evil Dead?
So, well, one more little trivia here that I found interesting, just to show you how dangerous the movie was to actually shoot. A cameraman slipped during filming, smashing his camera into Bruce Campbell's mouth and knocking out his teeth.
Oh my gosh.
And is that why he has fake teeth to this day? Because they use that joke a lot in some of the shows.
A lot of those POV views are also shot very dangerously. You know, remember the last one at the end of the first one, where the spirit is racing towards back in?
Yeah.
They had a dirt bike, and they pushed it down a hill right at Bruce Campbell.
That's a good idea.
We'll stop it.
And this sounds very safe.
Sam, not that this is a problem, but is this going to be okay? No. No, you're not. All right, go.
Sam did that shit like that all the time. He didn't care about Bruce. He didn't care about the structure because he was a very young director. First movie. He wanted to get the fucking thing right.
Well, what was the thing they did? Into the Woods?
Yeah.
Was that what their first little fan film was,
right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Into the Woods, and then they went and got that green lit, and then they just ran with...
Yeah.
Because it didn't take very long to even make the movie. They just ran with whatever time they could get with
Right.
it. So, I love it, because that's one of the horror movies that stands out to me as a kid. Especially when she's, looking under the... like, I suck your cock, and stuff. It's like, what? You're fucking... Maybe. Wait a minute. Well, no one else is out here in the woods.
You know Ash thought about it. Come on, now. He's a sick fucker.
Oh, man, yeah.
Wait a minute.
He knew Ruby was a piece of shit, and he always wanted to bang her.
Yeah.
It's like...
Save the world? Get my dick sucked by
Jesus, a bunch of chicks.
I do both.
Jacksonville, Florida, and hookers, or save the world?
Yeah.
What's my time frame? Can I squeeze them both in? I have to pick one or the other? Well, hookers it is. That's
Another
him.
movie I liked with Bruce Campbell, I don't know if you guys are actually going to know this movie, was a very B movie, which Bruce is my favorite B actor. He's not a lot of A movies, which I like about Bruce. A lot of those B indie movies, he can have a lot of creative freedom in. It's because he's a big actor. And I think that's one of the reasons why he does it. Like, a lot of wrestlers go to the indies.
Yeah.
You know how wrestlers go to the indies because maybe they feel like they'll be restricted by creative?
Yeah.
Not
So
WWE, no.
Yeah.
So they go
Never!
They go because they want to have control of it. So that's why Bruce did a lot of those B movies, which is great because he could really control all of his characters. But anyway, it was Maniac Cop.
I saw that on the list when I was IDBing some shit last night.
Maniac Cop is
I've
about
never seen it.
a cop who was investigating the mayor about some weird shit that married like prostitution, drugs, and shit like that. So they set him up to go to prison, where all the people he arrested were in prison, and this cop was brutally murdered by all the inmates. So he comes back to life. Matthew Cordell, he's an officer, and he's dressed up in the cop uniform and everything, and he does normal traffic routines. And when he pulls him over and they go down the window, shoots him right in the face, stabs him in the fucking throat, and kills him. It's a great, cheesy 80s horror movie.
Is it straight up supposed to be horror, or has it got comedy?
Well,
Because if it's Bruce Campbell, I can't
Bruce
not
Campbell
see it.
has a more serious role. He's not really doing his comedy stuff. He's not a lead. There's another detective there that's actually the lead character in there. But he's playing a rookie detective, just trying to figure everything out, and he does end up getting in a fight with him at the end and killing him. It's a really great movie.
I did see it on the IMDb, but I didn't.
It's great. If you like cheesy 80s horror slashers, I would recommend it to anybody.
I don't like horror movies at all. I think this genre is stupid and it's
Shittiest movies ever.
It's cliche. You don't even get to say that because you don't watch them. So, ay. Now I'm Data from fucking...
Hey, Rangers.
Rangers! That bitch is back! And the fucker without the skin.
Hey.
Oh, God. I'm whiny Data. They call me Gata.
Hater.
That's funny you mention him. Because, speaking of Bill Hader, we'll jump right into it. Because we have not even done it yet. Myself, Hulk Hogan, Officer Hopper, and Hewitt Sawyer. You have not seen the It movies. But we could do a quick review of both of them, chapters 1 and 2.
Oh, man.
Nothing too in-depth crazy. But now that we've all seen them, what do we think of them as a whole? Well, we know because you and I both went and saw chapter 2.
Yeah.
What do you think of chapter 2 compared to chapter 1?
I didn't like it as much as chapter 1.
Yep.
Definitely not as much, but it was a very interesting take on the people's lives that were affected by it 27 years later. It was really cool to see where they were at in their lives at that point, what they were doing, what happened, how did they deal with it after, because it comes back to a lot of cutscenes after they killed it.
Right.
When they made the pact and stuff. So that was really cool to learn some of the backstories of those characters they didn't necessarily learn about in the original one.
Yep.
You know, they were kind of left hanging there. So,
Right.
it was good. I felt they killed it the same way they always do. Not scared of them. As
Right.
Chaps turn into a baby.
Which I liked it because...
Well, I liked it too.
I'm glad it stayed away. I mean, they did make him like a big spider thing. But they didn't just kill him with a fucking silver rock.
I liked the part before they killed it, all the tests they had to go through to actually end up killing it. She was stuck in the bathroom, and she was revisited by
overcoming their
memories,
fears. Yep.
And he was getting dug, and then the other side, he was getting buried in a grave. And she opens up the bathroom, and he's in there with the grave. He pulls her out of the grave. And then the doors were not dangerous, or not scary, very scary. She's like, let's do not scary. And then the fucking dog is sitting there.
Right. Ah! See, that was the problem I did have with the movie, though. It was too... They made it way too funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They made it way too funny.
It was, Well, you're right.
Like, I liked the horror stuff.
Yeah.
Like, in the very beginning, like... Now that you've seen it, you can understand why someone said to you, oh, Pennywise hates gay people.
You know what?
You can see where somebody would come up with that
but,
idea, but it's not him.
But Pennywise is very psychological.
Right.
Like a lot of serial killers are. If you have a weakness, say you fucking hated pizza, Pennywise would throw pizza pies at he's very
Well, no,
psychological
not just
about
with-
that. He was very
Not just with
insecure.
Richie, but because of in the beginning he kills the gay dude.
Well, it was both of them, but that was happenstance.
Exactly that, but you can see though why somebody would just take that out of context and be like, "Oh, he's only killing gay people," kind of like in the Joker, like he's only killing black people or something, or whatever,
Yeah,
something.
One of them
that-
was out of just he happened to be there.
Right, that guy just happened to be
happened
gay.
to be his 27 years. He came back out, and the other part of the Richie, even
It's
just
just
Dirty Little
character
Secret,
build. It's just giving him character.
It's a psychological mind game that he plays with everybody in the movie. It's just because he was gay, and everybody's on the
Now I don't know if like in the
defensive
book
bandwagon
if
thing.
that was accurate to Richie, but I do know in the book it did have a gay couple
were
that got killed.
Right. It was, yeah.
But I could see where somebody could say, "Oh my God, Pennywise, he's a homophobe."
Well, what if
Going
he
after
killed?
him.
What if the guy was black and he threw him over? They ate the black guy.
What if he was black and gay?
And then
The internet
What's that
would
saying?
In Chinese.
what if it was Chinese and he ate a Chinese guy?
Oh my
What
God.
if he was a lesbian?
Then he's
She's a
Donald
lesbian.
Trump! The orange hair, it makes sense.
Keep mentioning him. I gotta run away. Alright?
It's fucking stupid. And people make
They make nothing. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know.
But my only problem with the movie was they tried to make it way too funny at times. And then it didn't seem like it was original.
Well, it really wasn't. I mean, the first one they were going off of 1987, the original. This one they really didn't know where it's going.
Well,
It
even the
stopped
monsters
after
that they
it,
brought-
so, they didn't have anywhere else to go besides.
Well, I mean,
kind
just
of
in
making fun,
comparison to
you know.
the chapter 1, like, bringing back the leper. The sick, ill creature that scared Eddie as a kid. To bring that character back, it's like, really, you're gonna bring that back? I would think after 27 years, Richie or Eddie is over that particular creature. Come up with something new now.
Well, you think so, but I mean, everybody is, because it has that curse in town where everybody kind of forgets about it. So everybody's kind of repressed except for that black guy. He stayed in the town and remembered everything, but everybody else kind of forgot. So I think when they went
Reusing
back,
that fear as a new...
it was fresh because they completely blocked out it at that point and forgot about the things that happened 27 years ago.
Something
so
just
that's,
moved.
I think, why it was still scary.
I guess without explanation, that makes sense if you let yourself believe they
Yeah.
forgot they were afraid of that.
Yeah.
But watching it, me knowing what they were
Right.
afraid of, it was like, come on, have
Yeah.
like a giant infected, like, dick come after him and it's just dripping fucking ooze or something. Something so horrific that's like,
Spray him
Jesus.
with gonorrhea.
Right.
Kill him with chlamydia.
Right, exactly. That could have been a poster, an advertisement. Kill him with chlamydia.
Give that fucker crabs.
Exactly.
The 7-year itch.
I know your secret, Richie. You're gay, and I'll give you AIDS. Like, that would have fucking scared the fuck out of me if I was gay. I'm like, no shit, you can tell people I'm gay, don't give me AIDS. Like, that'll be scary. But I digress. I guess I have a different thought process of scary. Because when I heard this movie was going to be a hard R. Hard R. That means to me, go there. Maybe not show the orgy scene from the book where they're all
Why
banging
not?
the... Well, I mean, you can, but I'm not going to...
Let's go there.
I
Let's
won't
go
just
there.
come out and, hey, show me that kid getting raped or whatever. But if it's in the movie and it's
Yeah.
part of it, I won't.
Or allude
I
to
don't
it.
mind a lot of things as long as it has something to do with the fucking story. It's not just some random bullshit they throw
Right.
in.
If you were just throwing that scene in there to be like,
For shock value.
I'd be like, that's disgusting. But knowing the source material, I'm almost intrigued.
Yeah.
It's a weird, sick, fucking psychological
It is.
thing these movies do to you.
Yeah. I
Don't put that out in the public. Oh, Hillary Clinton's coming to get me. Video games, they're the devil's work. But I love horror movies for that. Because I don't know. They do let you kind of live out a weird fantasy. Like almost anything. Like whether it's like a Lord of the Rings fantasy, Star Wars fantasy, you get
immersed in it.
Right, that's
You
the
know?
perfect word. You get immersed in what you're watching. Now that doesn't mean when you're watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and maybe it does though. That you're
I kill people.
You know what? I'm gonna bash that motherfucker's brains into mincemeat, and then I'm gonna make a pie for my grandpa.
I have a portable DVD player in my hand.
Okay.
A chainsaw in the other.
Okay.
And I'm watching a hey neighbor, how you doing? The answer, I fucking kill them. Then I watch the movie right in their back.
See, some people they live the dream. Others just dream it. And then I guess he's just gonna do it.
It's great because Jehovah's Witnesses will knock on my door.
Oh,
No
that's
one's selling me shit.
Yeah, they just show up. It's perfect.
Due to like last week's me getting assaulted on the show and things seeming like they might go. I got a bat here to counteract your hammer. I'm hoping you'll stand in the way because you're just big. You don't have anything in that holster. You can finger bang him. Finger bang bang!
The South Park now.
Yeah.
That was. Oh, by the way, this is something that was horror. But did you watch the new episode of South Park? They had a callback to Finger Bang, and I laughed for like 5 minutes.
It
was great.
What, season like 23?
Oh.
I'm only on like season 22, and I thought it was terrible.
No, it has a lot of hit miss moments, or very very topical now with the political stuff. So
Yeah.
anything that happens politically, they'll probably do it in the next season. But it was really funny because you think they forget a lot about old South Park.
Yeah.
Because they close a lot, like they get out. There's a bunch of characters that just go away.
They go away. Well,
And you
Chef
have-
went away on certain reason, but
Yeah.
they got rid of a lot of characters just because.
To have a callback to Finger Bang was so. They were on stage and a bunch of people with Finger Bang Bang. It was fucking
That
hilarious.
is good.
It was
I would watch that
It
because
was
that was a
great.
funny episode.
Well,
Well, there was a horror episode that had fucking corn in it.
yeah.
With South
Yeah.
Park.
Yep.
And Barbara Streisand and all four corners.
All four of the
It was
corners.
Scare Vision.
It was scary. She is a terrifying looking dinosaur of a human.
Those old episodes were
They're
magic.
classic.
They are great. I have I have a list of the Halloween shit like we kind of went through, but I don't have.
How about Hellraiser? You guys like Hellraiser?
They're
guys
alright,
like
but
little
let's not go through play by play every one of them because if you haven't seen
I
it,
just the first one.
no, for sure. But like
Um,
I have a list of like the main Halloween movies, or not Halloween. I'm sorry, horror classics, and then like I have a list of like other ones like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, like you said, The Bone Collector, Arachnophobia, the Howling movies, Lost Boys, Fright Night. You said Tremors.
Leprechaun.
Oh, I have a list of Leprechaun. Like I have for the main movies I wrote down. I have a page on Halloween, a little section on the Hellraisers, a little section on Nightmare, some random ones, some more random ones, section on Child's Play, section on Texas Chainsaw, Leprechaun, Friday the 13th, more random ones, whole Stephen King listing.
I got Exorcist. Shining was classic.
I can't. How did I not write The Exorcist down?
Oh,
Holy
that's
Christ.
The Shining's a
That
classic
scared me.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh man, check. Oh.
That's why I want to see
Yeah,
Doctor
it's a-
Sleep. I want it because it's a sequel to it, and I think it looks
Stanley Kubrick.
fucking fantastic. Yep.
Cujo.
Are we
was-
going off of Stephen King movies right now?
Any horror movies? I was just looking at my list.
That's what I'm kind of going through, picking through. Where are we at for time, by the way?
An hour and 37 minutes.
Holy shit! Well, we can wrap up. I mean, whenever you guys are.
I'm fine.
Because you guys have really invested so much effort into communicating. I mean, you have a list right there. Feel free to look at it and be like, hey, I have a list.
Probably stuff that you guys have never heard of, but
What do you got?
the miniseries V from.
Yeah, no, I never heard of
No.
that. You
No.
mentioned it, but I've never
It's like
heard of it.
aliens come down and
I've heard
they
of
look
that.
like humans, but they peel away their skin and they're lizards underneath, and they're trying to take over the planet. That freaked me out when I was a kid.
That sounds like straight out of like the Twilight Zone kind
Yeah,
of
it,
thing.
it was just like and it was all gooey. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
just like a regular lizard face. Like it was like dripping and shit. It was.
Oh.
No, I've never seen that.
And when they would peel their face off, their voice would change. So it was even, yeah, it was really
Did
weird.
did they redo that?
Yeah, they rebooted
recently?
it and it was horrible.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember that.
But I remember that scaring the shit out of me when I was a kid.
I have shows, but I don't have that one. Like, I only have, like, shows like Ash vs. Evil. Oh, no, that's not even it. What the fuck do I know? Yeah, what else you got? Anybody?
Hills Have Eyes is classic.
Yeah?
Ooh.
Well, the original, like the classic one or like the newer one?
1977 one.
I've seen that once, but I remember, but it's pretty much the remake is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, they put some CGI and stuff into it.
The Exorcist scared the shit out of me when I was.
You
I
remember
remember
such
that.
Thomas in Hell.
Yep.
I watched it alone, and I had trouble sleeping.
The only part that scared me in that movie, and it still kind of creeps me out to this day, and it's literally the only part of the movie that freaks me out, it's just when she's walking down the stairs backwards. It's the only part of that entire movie that ever scared me.
Poltergeist really scared me too.
I never thought that movie was
I
scary.
liked it.
I even bought the remake because I thought, well, it's a remake. It's got to be good.
That old lady, the creepy old lady.
Yep.
How about Jaws?
Yeah, I got the Jaws, all of the Jaws movies I liked. I just watched, basically, it's a new version of Jaws, The Meg. Not long ago with Jason Statham.
Jason Statham, yeah.
It wasn't bad. I mean, you really can't do much more with a genetically engineered shark other than making it street sharks. And then at that point, you got a $1 billion movie on your hands.
Michael Bay.
You guys ever already watching the Wrong Turn movies?
Yep.
Yeah.
What?
I wouldn't say with those movies.
They
I
got
like the first
5
two.
of them now?
Yeah, I like the first 2. That's where I cut it off. It gets fucking
I don't remember. I think I only saw the first one. They had Elijah Dushku in it, right? The first one?
Yeah.
I think it's the only one I ever saw. I remember them being in the cabin
Yeah.
when they come in and they're like laying underneath the bed and shit, and it's just like, oh my god, like this isn't just you're in somebody's house. You're in these weird hillbilly brother, mother, father fuckers houses.
Yep.
Like
It's what it is. It's normally in West Virginia, really.
it's a documentary of a West Virginia family.
It is.
It's a true story.
They're nice. I mean, minus when they try to shoot you with arrows and hit
You
you
blow
with
their
axes
loads
and
on your
shit.
faces.
And fuck you in the ass. But besides that, they're nice.
They're really
family.
nice, and they make one hell of a stew.
One of my favorite movies from the 80s is Silent Night, Deadly Night.
I think I saw that.
Whoa.
Christmas?
It's Christmas, yep. So this kid's parents were murdered by Santa Claus, a rogue Santa Claus, a mall cop Santa Claus, who pretended to be broke down. They pull over to help him. He pulls a gun, shoots Dad in the face, rapes the mom at knife point, and shoots her in the face.
Why even shoot her at that point? Just leave her there raped?
Because he knew the kid was watching.
Oh!
And the
good.
kid ran across the street
Yep.
to get away, obviously. And he was watching through the bushes, and he knew. He pulled the mom's head up where he could see her and just pulled the trigger. So he ends up in a adoption house with a bunch of nuns, a very abusive nun. He has very vivid PTSD-like dreams of this all happening again. Every time it happens, this nun's a fucking bitch. Just beats him with like a belt and shit.
That's most nuns, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Old school nuns are just assholes.
Mm-hmm.
So
New school
he has
nuns
this
are
weird
worse.
PTSD, obviously, with Santa Claus. So flash forward about 15 years. He has a job at a hardware store. And they ask him to be Santa Claus that year. They force him pretty much to be Santa Claus that year. And this kid sits on his lap and was talking to him, and you could see his eyes just like snapping. And as soon as the night was over, everybody was getting drunk, celebrating Christmas, and you see him walk in the back and grab an axe, and he just went haywire. Killed everybody in the store, all of his coworkers, and then he went back to where he was abused by the nun and tried to kill her. But just before he kills her, he was shot in the back by the police.
Oh.
Wow.
So he didn't get his revenge.
There's a lot of great moments where he's in people's houses giving them presents, and this kid walks out, and he goes, "Have you been a good girl this year?" He thought he was going to kill her, and he has the bloody knife in his pocket from killing people, and he gives it to her as a Christmas present. The same knife that was used to murder her babysitter and boyfriend downstairs.
I can't believe I haven't seen that movie.
And there was a scene where a kid is sledding down a hill, and he's waiting at the bottom behind a tree with his axe, chops his head right off, and then his other friend's at the bottom of the hill, and as soon as he gets down, he sees his friend decapitated.
It's still like upright on the sled.
Yeah.
It's a classic. I watch it every December.
It's kind of funny how they have classic movies like that, and then they make new ones where they're just shit.
The second one was shit.
Oh, they made a second?
The sequel was it was comedy trash garbage. Not even good, corny 80s comedy. It was straight up trash.
It's like a lot of them feel like they have to go that route. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
really
they lose
weird.
the direction of trying to stay scary. So, like, Leprechaun was always meant to be funny horror.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
Chucky was not.
No.
It was dark humor because it was a doll making these fucked up jokes, but it wasn't full-blown Chucky and fucking Tiffany.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, once it became that, like, Bride of Chucky
See ya, Chucky.
was like the cusp of I will allow this to be in the continuity of Child's Play.
Yeah.
And then Seed of Chucky just shit right down your fucking throat.
See ya,
You got a hermaphrodite confused fucking doll.
That kid was fucking weird.
And it's British.
Yeah, I forgot how weird that was.
The fuck?
Yeah, I blocked that out.
I didn't understand it. Like, you
That's
just...
the one that's always on TV, too.
Because they're forcing that one down your throat for you to like it. Like,
Maybe I'll have to make the new one. The other new one will be on TV.
I watched that, and I was not impressed.
No, but it's better than seeing Chucky.
That's true. Did you see the newest Child's Play?
No.
It's... I'm not going to spoil it, but it's all artificial intelligence, which takes the fucking... The idea of the scare right out of it, because the whole idea that was scary about Chucky is a guy put his fucking serial killer soul in a toy.
Yep.
And that toy is trying to now put his serial killer soul into a human.
Yep.
When it's AI, all it is hardware that has gone...
It's Terminator. It's Terminator that's 3 fucking feet tall.
It's exactly what it is. There's no... Why does this kid need to even be Andy anymore? It doesn't. His name could be Billy. Because now there's no reason his name is Andy Barclay. Why is Chucky Chucky? Well,
he's not.
This is literally how it happens in the movie. They are called buddy dolls. Instead of good guy dolls, they're buddy dolls. B-U-D-D-I, so they're your buddy. It's buddy! Hey, buddy! But the goddamn thing is all short, height, or haywired or whatever, and it fucking... The kid says, he was like, hey, buddy... My name's Andy. My name's Chucky. Why?
Why? Yeah.
Why?
Where does that come in?
What the fuck? Who just... Was your creator Charles Lee Ray? No. Because they showed the creator, and it was an Asian man in a goddamn sweat factory making these dolls in the movie. It's so stupid.
They just wanted them.
You know, the problem with remakes is new directors, they want to inject their vision on it.
Totally
and
fine.
It could be really, really great. Like, that was fantastic. Why didn't the original director get it? Or it could be really fucking shitty. It goes 2 ways.
Well, and that's the thing. You got... Who's the guy that does the Chucky movies? Don Muschietti?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
He's done, like, all of them.
Right.
Other than this Child's Play that just came out, he has done, like, all 8.
You know why? Because he looks at the script...
Well, he's doing
the movie.
Well, he's doing a TV show now.
Oh, is he?
He wants to do a TV show based off of the Charles Lee Ray Chucky.
Oh.
So
that's kind of cool.
Well, like you just said though, you got some people that want to take a remake and do their own thing. Do that, but don't call it something that we already know it is.
Right.
Don't call it Child's Play and have Chucky in there if it has nothing to do with what the original concept was.
Is it what they're going for there is a selling point?
Exactly.
Obviously.
Yeah. Marketing.
They're marketing
Did you see the posters for it?
Well, the posters were actually kind of fun. They were Toy Story Massacre.
Yes!
Which is kind of funny. I really liked that.
They were great!
I really liked that.
Very smart.
Yeah.
Like, brilliant. Seeing... He was like holding like Slinky Dog. You can see his arm. He's holding like Slinky Dog over the fire.
Yeah.
That movie did not resonate any of that vibe.
Which sucks because when you have such great hype for movies and you see it, it's like, what the fuck?
Because when I'm thinking, like when I saw those posters, I'm thinking, yeah, that motherfucker's just being sadistic and he's just hanging Toy Story toys. Oh, why would a robot do that? There's no emotional connection. No. Why would he? And I'm breaking down the poster. Why would a robotic toy that has no emotion, other than just
robots are programmed to do what to do. If they're not programmed to do it, they're not going to do it.
This thing is literally programmed to basically kill.
Yeah.
Why would it have an emotional sentiment to kill this kid's favorite fucking toys?
Yeah, make it personal. Yeah. It would just have the propensity to kill, not to
oh, well, I should differentiate how I should kill opposed to, nope, I'm just going to kill. Will the gun be quicker or will the knife hurt more? It shouldn't matter.
Right.
You just grab whatever. There should be no logical thinking in a robot because they don't, unless it's a movie like iRobot, where the story is, it has artificial intelligence but this is literally like programmed just to be
a doll.
Yes, there's no,
it's just a doll.
Right, there's no super $1 million microchip in it. It's literally this guy.
You pull the string and say, "Hi, I'm Chucky."
This guy is sitting in a sweatshop, and his boss comes up to him, and you see all these people on an assembly line making these buddy dolls. And this guy, his boss comes up to him, he goes, I don't know what they're speaking, they're like Chinese or whatever. Sometimes he's like, oh, you need to work faster, you need to go faster, you're never going to go home if you don't get this job done. And then the guy's looking at him all pissed off, and you just see, oh, he's having a bad day. That's all he does. Oh, I'm having a bad day. So this toy, I'm gonna take the fucking, the thing out of it that keeps it from killing people, I'll take that right out. So now the toy is maniacal. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's this
Stupid.
evil Charlie.
Stupid.
That's where he gets the name Chucky, because Asians are known as Charlies.
We're just going racist as a motherfucker today.
That's connecting the dots, right? Aren't they called Charlies in like Vietnam and stuff?
Yeah.
You know?
Watch
So
out for Charlie.
right, so that Asian guy is a Charlie, which Chucky is short for Charlie or Charles.
His name could have been Charlie, you know?
Right,
So.
Charlie,
Yeah,
exactly.
so.
Yup, this is like,
You
this
know
is
what?
fun.
You should bring that idea to the director because he's a really shitty director. He probably really loved that idea.
He probably could retcon it back in and be like, I can get a fan
Holy
base
shit,
going
what
if
a
I just,
Special edition out!
oh fuck, this kid just made me $1 million and I put all the work into
Get
it.
the fuck out of here.
Yeah, write me off. What do you need? Can we just get Christopher or Brad Dourif to be the voice again? Because Mark Hamill, I love the guy, but Jesus Christ, there's no reason for that guy to have been the
No.
voice.
And he was
Jackie
all
Chan.
about it too. Like we did so many interviews where
And
he
there's
was
no-
so all about it.
There's nothing in there because it's a robot, so there's no like maniacal laughing. There's no
soul.
personality. Right.
There's literally no soul. Which
No
is what the
soul.
movie was about.
Yep.
Him having an evil
Ade
soul.
due dembala. Give me the power, I beg of you. Like that fucking shit was terrifying.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved Child's Play as a kid. So the new one, I bought it. I buy all these fucking remakes.
I remember, since we get Child's Play, I remember Child's Play, I think it was the first one. Pretty sure it was the first one. And I watched it even before I watched Halloween. I was like 5. And my uncle was playing it. And all I remember is Chucky jumping out of a closet and beating the shit out of a teacher with a ruler.
That was the second one.
Oh wow.
And that was I didn't watch the rest of it.
No,
I
it was
was
the first.
kind of
second,
young,
though.
but that's the one thing I remember about Child's Play as a teacher getting
With
violently
like a
beaten.
big yellow yardstick, and he's just
Beat the shit out of it.
like just laughing about it, like because he's sick. Like yeah, he's a doll, but it's a sick human being inside of that doll.
Which, yeah, once you take that away, it's a Terminator that's 3 feet tall.
Exactly. It's just there's no emotional connection. There's no reasoning that this robot is torturing this specific family.
Right.
Other than it's in the house with this family.
Other
that's-
than the angry Chinese
And
guy
that's
over
instantly
it.
going to take you out of the movie as soon as you realize.
Oh, especially
that,
if
you
you're
know
a
what I mean?
fan
Yep.
of the Chucky movies, where it's like, because I am, like I have every Chucky movie they've ever made, all of them. Cult of Chucky was the last one that came out that follows the continuity. I thought it was great because it had Alex Vincent come back as Andy Barclay like 30 years later.
Nice.
It had whatever the fuck his sister's name was in the second one, his adoptive Kyle. I think her name was Kyle. She came back in the end credits, which was just cool. Right at the end of it, Chucky finally, like Charles finally gets his soul out of the doll, and he puts it into a woman,
Wow.
which she's been there in the last couple of movies, so it makes sense why it's this character. But it's just brilliant because in the reality of it, Brad Dourif is Chucky, he's the voice, but in the movie, his real life daughter is the girl that he puts his soul into. So you see his daughter now being the new Chucky almost in a weird, but it's still him inside of her. They bring Tiffany back as I think she's actually supposed to be what the fuck is her name? Jennifer Tilly. I think she's supposed to actually be Jennifer Tilly in the movie again. She ends up being she is Tiffany from Bride of Chucky. They like kind of messed the storyline up. She comes back at the end of it after he puts his body in the girl, and she goes, well, you look different, but I could get used to it. They make out for a little bit, and then they drive off, and you just hear that laugh, and it's like, oh, fuck, where are they going to go with this now? I like that because it's still playing off of that's Charles Lee Ray in a human, in another body now. I mean, yeah, he's not in the Chucky doll, so that kind of loses its value. Because you almost never want to see that happen.
Yeah.
But I still think it's way better than the new $1 million Child's Play that they just put out in theaters.
Yeah.
I mean, for a straight-to-DVD movie, I think it's a hell of a lot better. You got 2 of the original actors in it.
It's great when you can find those too.
I like it. I did. I thought it was really good. And the kills are good. They're classic kills. They're not... just trying to be ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're like real good kills. Like one of them in one of the movies, Curse of Chucky, there's a group of people sitting around getting ready to eat dinner. And you got like 3 people that are family members. There's a friend of the family and a priest. Now, while the soup is cooking, nobody's watching the soup. And you see a little hand come into the screen and dump rat poisoning in one of the bowls. All the bowls are laid out. And you see him dump rat poisoning in one of the bowls. And then you see like the people come get the bowls. They put them around the table. You don't know who's going to get which bowl.
Right.
Very suspenseful. Awesome. It's like, oh, fuck, who's going to eat this? Because, like, I don't even... Like, all of you people seem very important. And then, you know, it's the fucking priest that ends up dying. And then you just hear Chucky, like, laughing about it. It's like, that's classic. That's just classic to me. Like, he's thinking about what he wants to do, opposed to, oh, I'll just burn the whole house down, kill them all. Like, oh, let's have fun with them. Let's just take them out one by one. And I love that shit. That's the good psychological thriller, suspense, horror, whatever you want to label it as. However you perceive that emotion, that's what I love about
Would you consider
like
Gremlins?
I was gonna write. I have it over there in my movies. That's like Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a Christmas but a horror movie.
Yeah.
But definitely
Damn
it's
good movie.
horror because it's horror comedy. But it's got scary moments in it for sure. Like
microwave and all that.
Right,
shit.
just the image of seeing the little eggs popping.
Yeah.
Like, that's very graphic and disgusting. I mean, I have like little kid movies here. I mean, they're not scary, but I mean, The Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror, those are very good.
Yeah.
There's tons of shit out there that fit the bill of horror movie or that genre. Because like, Are You Afraid of the Dark, which is directed more towards like a younger youth. Goosebumps again, which is like another younger youth, but yeah, it's still. Creepy's creepy, man.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't care if it's a big guy with a butchering knife or
a small guy with a butcher knife.
I don't even know. Like, it's like a creepy. Like, you're just showing me the corner, like that corner over there, and you're just keeping the camera on it and just making me like, what the fuck? This is unsettling. Like, why? What's going to happen? Like, just anything. I love it all. I really do. Halloween is my personal favorite time of the year. It's everything looks great. When it's all scary and spooky and shit. Like, my whole apartment is, you know, Halloween decorated. I love it. I don't want to take it down when the time comes. I personally like it as well because my daughter has a birthday in October, which just fits the bill. Her birthday is on Tuesday, so I'm going to say happy birthday now to my little soon-to-be 3-year-old baby girl. Love you, kid. I don't know. You guys have any personal, like...
The only
spooks?
The only one that we didn't talk about that I really like is Cabin in the Woods.
Definitely.
I really like that movie.
I'm surprised I didn't write it. Or actually, you know what? I think I do have it in like some of the modern movies because I do have a list for modern.
I don't know what it is about that movie, but I really enjoyed that movie.
No, that's a good one because it plays on all the classic horror tropes.
Yeah.
Of.
And then it's a corporation that's behind it and everything.
It's not even a corporation behind it. It's a god that lives inside the earth.
But it looks like, you know, when you first see it, it looks like, I thought that was a really good movie.
And you know what's funny? The guy that did that is the same dude that brought us the Avengers. Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Guy that did Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Joss Whedon.
I just thought I'd mention that one because that's
a
movie
great,
that I really do enjoy.
Great movie. I thought
I didn't mention any of the Saw movies. Speaking of psychological,
I have tons of notes on the Saw. That's like my favorites.
The first one was pretty straight up gory. The second one was pretty psychological only because...
Oh, yeah, because it's a game.
It was pre-recorded.
Yes.
Saw was right there fucking with him, and the son was the safe behind him the whole time.
Yup. And then the girl, she was in on it, which...
Yeah.
My only thing with that is now, what if she didn't plan on them, or not that, what if she didn't plan on them, but clearly she didn't plan on the big muscular guy throwing her into the pit of needles.
No.
Because good God almighty.
Good God.
Fucking kill me right then and there.
That was hard to watch the first
Woo!
Yup.
And nobody's helping a bitch out. It's like, oh my God.
You want to get down there and help her?
Oh my God, no way. That's why don't you just squirt lemon juice on her and take a piss on her while you're at it? Oh my God, that was nasty.
It was terrible.
Because I have a fear of needles. So to see the broken glass and the needles sticking in her and knowing she was a junkie and shit, it just was like, I couldn't. The other one that fucking freaked me out in that movie is when the bitch puts her hands up in the glass box.
Oh yeah.
And gets her hands stuck with the razors. It's like, get me the fuck out of this house.
There's a lot of fucking.
Who the fuck thinks of this shit?
I want to be the guy at the beginning of the movie that looks through the keyhole and gets his fucking brains shot in because he got the quickest death.
Way.
Everybody else, this motherfucker got a baseball bat to the back of the head with nails in it. This guy got stuck up with syringe. This bitch is bleeding out because she's too stupid to realize that there was a key hanging above the box.
Like, it wasn't even in there.
There was one in there, but there was a key hanging above it as well.
Yeah.
So she could have got that fucking key and unlocked it and fucking gave herself the fucking serum. But nope, she gets her hand stuck in that reverse razor trap, and it's like, oh my god, you're fucking peeling the skin. It's just gross. But I love it.
Fucked up shit in there.
I love the Saw movies, and
Have you seen the one where they do the pound of flesh game where they have to cut off the most meat? And
when I
and
found
the
out,
scale, and whoever has the most donate the most meat wins.
oh man, that shit's just disgusting.
Sawed off their whole fucking arm.
Right, she's chopping her arm off, and this dude's cutting off a big, thick, fat piece of meat,
Oh,
and then she's got to go around the rest.
That? With
four, I think.
4, like it's in the beginning. It's right, like the very first game you see, and then it kind of transitions into the movie. But you and I went to Saratoga Comic Con a few years ago and met Costas Mandalore, the guy, Detective Hoffman, who was in Saw 3 all the way up till 7.
Yep.
Which was just absolutely amazing to meet that guy. He was just so radical, and to meet somebody from Saw other than Tobin Bell, who was Jigsaw. Detective Hoffman was the other Jigsaw the whole fucking time, really. And I went nuts when I got to meet him. It was just a really cool moment. I was over the moon to meet that dude.
really cool.
It was really cool. I'm fucking like flaking over here, man.
You're molting.
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you something, dudes. But people that were in the Saw movies, I know Dave, you'll get a kick out of this. You might already know this. I'll probably butcher his last name. Carrie Elways.
Elways, yep.
I spell my Elways, Elways, like as in John Elways. But yeah, he was in the first one, and he,
I remember that.
He was in fucking Princess Bride. They brought him back for the
Robin
7th
Hood
movie.
Yeah.
Exactly, yup. He's on the cover of it.
He's great.
His little mustache. He was at Boston Comic Con a couple years ago, so cool. I wish I could have met him to meet another guy from Saw, but I didn't care. Fuck him. Danny Glover, or Donald. Whatever one is in Childish Gambino. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever one isn't him. The father. And then who else was in the Saw movies? I think that's really it for big name actors. They never really pulled Donnie Wahlberg.
Seventh Heaven Girl. Lucy.
Oh, she was in the second one.
Yep.
She was in the second one. I watched Dead Silence the other night. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the dummy.
With the puppet there, and like the old woman is like the spirit that kills people.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the time, way back when, that was directed by James Wan, who did the Saw movies. He's done like the Insidious. He's done The Conjuring. He did Aquaman. I think James Wan is a fantastic director. I have a shit ton of like all of his movies kind of listed here.
You can find Dead Silent in like the $5 bin.
I just bought it at Dollar General for $5.
It's good.
But when I'm watching it, I didn't realize, this is underneath the people that did the Saw movies. You can totally tell it is when you're watching it. It 100% feels like a Saw movie, just with the frantic imaging. When it gets to the end of the movie, it has that moment of the main guy standing in a room by himself, and he's like looking all over, and they're showing you quick images of shit, and he's having a revelation of, oh my god, this whole time, this is what the truth has been. Very Saw moment, like how most the Saw movies at the end, it's like, the murderer's been right there the whole time. I thought he was a dead body.
Fucking Saw 1.
Brilliant. I never would have saw that coming. But Donnie Wahlberg is in that Dead Silence movie.
Oh wow.
Which obviously he was in the 2 of the Saw movies. Mm-hmm. Billy the puppet, the Saw puppet, is in that movie. They show an image and he's on the wall with a bunch of other puppets.
Wow.
The main puppet in the movie's name is Billy. So it's just obviously they were very inspired by fucking Saw with this movie. But it was a cool movie. Nothing special, nothing really, I wouldn't say talk about. because we're talking about it. But nothing to brag about. I guess that would be it. But yeah, the Saw movies are psychological.
Because it plays on everybody's fears in that whole. That's the whole point of Saw.
And there's always a way out.
It's yeah.
And
It's
right,
always
it's a
Very
personal
very
thing.
personal.
Like you took your life for granted.
Yeah.
How dare you? There's people like me, and this is the message. There's people like me that are dying and are losing life from whether my wife had a miscarriage, and now her and I aren't even together. I have cancer, whatever all these other things are, and not so much like the Joker mindset of my life is shit, but
No.
appreciate what you have
Right.
because it's not always going to be there or whatever. I thought that was just genius because it just made it seem like that could just be anybody doing it. Clearly, it takes an intellect to come up with the idea that guy's doing and to have the ability to make all those mechanisms and shit. It clearly takes skill.
Yep.
But the idea is so simple. It's like, God damn, yeah, man. If only people would stop bitching about, well, I don't have the newest fucking iPhone, so my life sucks. Oh, well.
Think of the stuff you do have.
Right. I mean, you have $1,000 that you didn't waste on a phone.
Yeah.
Or, whatever, just hypothetically speaking.
And that balance between insanity and intelligence is always there, too. So,
And that's fun because then it leaves you as the viewer like, who am I siding with? Am I siding with the psycho because I understand it, but I'm not siding with his methods, but I'm siding with his idea.
I always sided with Jigsaw. I was sided with Jigsaw because I get it. I think everybody gets it. I think from that perspective,
Yeah.
he puts these people there for a reason. These people aren't necessarily the best people in society, and he thinks, in his own twisted way, he thinks when the person, whoever comes out alive, will appreciate their fucking life a little bit more.
But they should.
Yeah.
Way
They
more
should,
than they would. It's a wake-up call for whoever makes
The
it out.
most extreme wake-up call because you're going to lose a fucking limb.
Yeah.
No matter what happens,
Yep.
you are probably not walking out of there.
No, not the same person. Literally,
Right.
physically and mentally.
You are
not
going
the
to
same
be
person.
gone. Because, look
Yeah.
at what he did to Amanda, the girl.
Yeah.
She was the heroin addict. She got her savior. She became his apprentice. She got way too emotionally attached to him and started becoming psycho about it.
Yeah.
Then you had Hoffman, who was a secret apprentice, who was still doing it the right way. And then the wife came back into the picture, and she was trying to throw a wrench into everything.
Yeah.
And it didn't become convoluted. It just became more of like, okay, now we're getting away from what the idea of these movies is, and now it is just becoming psychotic horror.
Yeah.
These people are just living out of a fantasy of power and what they're doing, and they're getting off on it almost.
Yeah, Amanda started the whole thing because she didn't want to follow the rules.
Yep.
She didn't care. She wanted who to win. She wanted somebody to win that she picked.
She picked, exactly. She wanted to be in control of it instead of it being by choice or
Exactly.
destiny or chance.
She
Right.
was God.
Yep. And I liked all that shit because that's deep for a horror movie.
It is, yeah.
It's not just a hack and slash. Oh, this guy's haunting me in my dreams. This guy's mother was killed. He drowned in a lake. This guy wants to kill his sister. It's like, no, this guy just has a good message. He just doesn't really have the best way of getting it out there.
Showing it.
Right, and I do. I love the Saw movies. They're supposed to be making a new one with Chris Rock as like the director, starring him, and starring Sam Jackson.
Interesting.
Yeah, right now it's...
I've seen weirder things turn out really good.
They have it... I think it's being called... Oh, fuck. They had a fake name for it. I forget what... Because they're saying it's going to be Saw, but they're using like a fake name so it doesn't...
Code name.
Yeah. Kind of like when Star Wars, way back when, they used the code name Blue Harvest.
Yeah.
For one of the Star Wars movies. So people wouldn't be like, oh, we gotta go. Oh, it's just Blue Harvest? I don't know what that is. I don't care.
Yep.
I mean, if you tell me there's going to be a new Saw movie coming out and it's in my neighborhood, I'm going to go probably try to sneak in on set.
Right.
But if you tell me there's a movie called Dillywag, I'm probably not going to give a fuck because I don't know what a
I
Dillywag
think
is.
it's a Kevin Smith movie, that's an obscure one.
Called
Jimmy
was.
Wag.
Saw backwards and fuck with people.
Right, this is what it was.
It was. Ooh.
I always thought, like when they came out with the first one, it was called Saw. It's It's like, what do you come out with the second one? Seesaw?
Saw 2.
I see Saw. I see Saw 3. I saw all the Saws. I saw Saw.
Yeah, they never really came up with creative names for it. We just Saw 2, Saw 3.
Right.
Fuck it, Saw 4.
I mean, now you got, we got to reboot it.
3D.
We got a new one. It's called Jigsaw. You motherfuckers, they got us again. Because it
After
works.
that, it's called Saw.
Saw.
Take off the jig.
Did you saw
I'm a
Saw?
genius.
Sawed it. We sawed it in half. You sawed it on TV.
Next one's gonna be Scene.
I love it.
There's so much horror movies we could talk about. There's so much shit. Like the Leprechauns, like you said. I mean, we could be here for hours talking about this shit.
Yep.
Which I'm totally okay with. But I know we got some viewers that bitch. It's too long. I don't understand how to hit pause and how to hit play again.
And then my YouTube will go back to where I was in the video.
I can't just pick up and listen to it a day later because, you know, continuity's everything and I'll forget what I heard. You know, that's just people for you.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I got more general questions actually I did want to ask. Somewhere. Yeah. Does anybody, you know, not, because this doesn't always have to be about movies for this horror episode or Halloween special, but, do you guys have any, like, least favorite scary, like, just shit that you watch that's like, this is just fucking stupid?
Yeah. Halloween Resurrection. Yeah.
I should have thought that one for you. Mine is definitely A Quiet Place. That was the worst goddamn horror movie I've ever seen this side of the fucking...
And they did the other one that was basically the exact opposite of that movie, and I can't remember the
Bird
name.
Box?
Bird Box.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
Yup.
I don't know.
I never saw that.
Although that in A Quiet Place movie, I hated it for the most part, except for when the dad sacrificed himself to save his daughter. That was...
I don't understand how when I
interesting.
talk to people about this movie, they don't say the same thing I say. It's a movie about you needing to be quiet, right? Because these monsters, like, say I'm right here, and I fart. And this monster over here, that motherfucker's like this. I heard you! And it comes in and eats my ass out. Okay? That's the whole movie. You don't want to be loud, because these fuckers will come out of
Well, so
nowhere.
they figure out how to kill him.
Beginning of the movie, you got this family. What do? They litter the ground. You're out in autumn. You're out in October-ish season. They litter the ground with sand. So they can walk across the sand barefoot without making sound. That's how goddamn quiet you need to be, right?
Yeah.
This kid has an airplane toy that starts going off. Makes all these sounds. It's electrical. And everybody, the whole family's like just, you know, really going hard. Charlie Chaplin in this shit, not saying a word. And this kid's like, my fucking toy's gonna get me killed. And a monster just, whoo, comes and gets him. Like that. And I'm not even making that up. Like that, right? I don't know how many years later into the movie it is. They're still laying sand on the ground. You still gotta be quiet when you walk. They're living on a farm. They're living life. There's still monsters out there, but they learn how to be quiet. So what do we do in a world where we have to learn how to be quiet? Let's have another baby.
Yeah.
There's a monster in the goddamn house when the woman gives birth and it doesn't find them. And right?
Yeah.
But yeah, when they were in the woods, the kid that had the toy, there happened to be just a monster. That motherfucker knew right where he was.
Well, that monster was stalking at one point underneath the water, where the baby was floating and shit. He was underneath there, and so that monster found him at one point.
Well, I'm saying though, when she's giving birth in the tub, and the monster's just creeping through the house, like I wonder.
Well, that's how the monster found her.
It took a long goddamn time.
But it still found her.
Yeah.
Neither one of them died. It's just ridiculous. It's a stupid premise of a movie. Why would
there's
you?
A sequel.
Right. Why would you even want to have a baby in a world you can't make noise
If there's
in?
a sequel to Sharknado, there could be a sequel to that fucking movie.
No one's going to cancel sci-fi.
Fuck Sharknado.
No one will ever cancel the Sci-Fi Channel, which is kind of a bummer now, because
I'm canceling it personally.
I canceled it a long time ago.
It's done.
Yeah.
It's dead.
When the first Sharknado got a sequel, that's when I was like, you know what, my childhood's
I
dead.
make it through the first Sharknado.
fuck.
I couldn't do it.
And people love that shit.
I don't get that.
How is there a fan base for that garbage?
My least favorite.
Those are like, you got your B movies that are bad, like Tomatoes from Outer Space and Killer Clowns.
Donut.
But then when you have a
It's stupid.
Sharknado, and there's like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Can we just stop and kill Mother Nature at this point? Because she's the fucking villain, putting sharks inside of tornadoes.
That's like where you just want to have fun with CGI and see if somebody will actually fucking watch it.
And I can't believe there's
You know
enough
what I mean?
fucking...
Okay, so for the
The
next
house
one,
is filling up with water, like the room, the downstairs, and there's a shark in the house. And then they're like, well, we gotta get out of here. So they leave, and then the house is still filling up. But they can, like, run out the house.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, it does, because water only stays in a house if it's Jumanji.
Let's get out of this shark house.
I have no idea, because I...
speaking of water and houses, did you see that new movie called Crawl?
Yes, I did. That's exactly where I was going to
It was
go.
really good, actually. It was done by
Yes.
Sam Raimi, who did the Evil Dead
Yep.
movies. And I like watch Lake Placid.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Lake Placid, I like
Wakanda,
that.
And they were okay. I don't like a lot of the animal tag movies.
Because
It
they're
just
embellished
wasn't-
over a bit. Because we got to make the animal huge.
Right. Yeah.
This was very
Real.
realistic. But when I went into it, I thought what you just said. What is the house just going to fill up with water and gators are going to be swimming around? And then you realize
Yeah.
you're literally actually
Yeah.
under the house
Yeah.
with
So-
a crawl space for like
Yeah.
an hour.
So they started in the basement.
It's a good
of the
movie. It really
and
was.
There's 2 crocodiles.
I've heard
down
about
there.
this Crawl.
And then the
It is good.
hurricane came through.
And Washmore.
And they had the sewer. There was a drainage sewer by their house in
Mhm.
the basement, and that's how
The gators got in
Yeah.
originally. So it's not like
it was so good. I liked
just
it. It was
ridiculous
great.
like
It was good.
and it's not ridiculous like Sharknado where there's a hurricane, there's got to be gators in the hurricane. It's like no, it's like if a hurricane washed the Everglades up into
Yeah.
suburbia.
Right.
Yeah.
You just
Okay.
got gators swimming around in like 10-foot fucking flooded waters of your
And they weren't
town.
over exaggerated.
It was
they
realistic.
Were normal looking alligators.
It was very realistic, except when the girl, she's sitting on a fucking like little stump trying not to get eaten.
Oh yeah.
And the gator comes up and clamps right down straight on her arm. And
should have been dead.
me as a gator enthusiast, I'm thinking that fucking thing's first tactic is going to drag you to the bottom of where it is and death roll you till it rips your fucking arm off.
Yeah.
She would have been dead.
It did that
In
to
real
the
life, she would have been
it
dead.
did that to the dad though, but not her. I'm like, this Mary Sue bitch.
She didn't die either.
No, he did. He should have. That guy got fucked up.
You know who I didn't want to die? I don't care what the
The
people-
dog.
I didn't give a fuck if the dad died and daughter died, or if they had a baby. I don't care if the
There
baby
was a
got
dog?
eaten. The dog. I cared about the fucking dog.
When he
It
was-
paddling in the water.
When he was holding the dog when they were in the boat, I'm
Yeah.
like, if that fucking dog
Exactly.
gets chomped down, I'm taking the
done.
movie out.
Especially when the gator was in the house and they were trying to get upstairs. The dog was trying to doggy paddle.
It's like,
way up
go,
the
go, go,
stairs.
go.
I was like, oh,
And then he
God,
just picks
don't
it
eat
up
him.
quick to put it up on the little stoop.
Then he latches onto the dad. I'm like, yes, he ate the
Right,
dad.
the fucking dad. 'Cause my first thought was, Dad, get out of the water. He's just standing in the water with a
Yeah.
fucking flare like this, like over here, and then out from behind it, Gator comes up and just rips his arm
These
right
gators
off.
can jump out of
Well,
the water.
they're realistic. Gators
Yeah.
can jump
Oh,
at
yeah.
least like what?
Yeah.
10
They get
feet?
momentum. Yeah,
Yeah.
they get momentum in the water too.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, they jump.
Yep.
Gators can.
I didn't know.
They got powerful legs.
They use the tail like a
Yeah.
rudder, and they
Yeah.
just get a shitload of
It's
momentum.
realistic in the sense of gators infesting your house.
Yeah.
Realistic, but I mean,
Yeah.
At least they're using the flood as a premise for them
Yeah.
to actually be in
right,
the
and they're
house.
not
Which is
oversizing them
realistic.
and saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, the water that they were in was contaminated."
I mean, how many stories have you heard that people in Florida having gators in their pool?
Oh, all the time,
Oh,
I mean,
all the time.
yeah.
when shit floods and they move, I mean, they're in the middle of the highway.
Exactly.
I'm sure they're everywhere.
I mean, the fucking gators in sewers didn't just start out of nowhere. I could
No.
imagine, you know.
A lot
It's
of
very
it's weird
realistic.
because they buy baby alligators, like a lot of those wild, exotic enthusiasts, and they'll put them in this. Now, I don't know if that's true because I've never seen it before, but apparently that's a lot of that stuff started when they started buying alligators and then they realized, hey, I can't raise
This
a
thing's getting too
20-foot
big.
alligator in my fucking house.
Yep.
Let's throw it down the
Throw it
sewer.
down.
I wouldn't doubt it. There's, that's what I did with my first kid.
Yeah.
You know, it's been 26 years and I haven't seen her. I'm hoping next year Pennywise gets the little fucker because then they all float down there. Because that's where Pennywise is. It's in the
All
sewers.
float.
Yeah. That was good. And then they all lived. They got the top of the roof and the helicopter
Oh,
came.
cool.
And that chick was so hot. Oh my god.
Oh,
Man, I gotta see this now.
It was good.
The whole time I'm like,
I'll
can we
definitely
just
check it out?
Can we just put her somewhere naked? Because I thought she was hot. And then when I can't help myself when I'm watching a horror movie or anything scary. It's like, you are still sexy even though your arm is off and you're bleeding. You still got like that
And
sexy
your
look.
blouse is ripped open, like.
Right, your breastises are showing, but it's okay because you're stressed and you're distraught, and that's wear and tear, and it looks good. I like it. Speaking of a little wear and tear, I actually just watched 3 from Hell.
Oh, I haven't watched yet.
Now, my uncle went off on it saying it
Well,
was...
because
he
it's
hated
weird
it,
because from I remember, they were shot by, like, the military and the cops.
Just cops, just
35 AK-47s ripped through their bodies, and I thought they were dead.
They explain all of it in this, because they are... It's... like the timeline is very... like, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It takes place right after one another. All 3 of them...
Before I forget, Captain Spaulding, dead.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get, because it ties into the movie.
Oh.
Because that's those 3. There's Baby, Captain Spaulding, and Otis. They all get shot right the fuck up playing Freebird in that Cadillac or whatever the hell it was.
Right.
So, like, everybody else... So I was thinking going to the movie, is it supernatural now? Like, 3 from Hell, does that mean, like...
The zombies?
Like, even Hell didn't want them? Like, they literally are the devil's rejects? Like, Hell's spitting them back out on Earth? I thought it was going to go supernatural. It didn't.
Oh.
All 3 of them survived, but were, like, fatally, like, critically, like, wounded. I think they said each one of them got over, like, 30 bullet wounds apiece.
That puts 50 Cent to shame.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Baby was, like, she's not mentally brain dead, but she is just psychotic gone. Like, just gone. I wish they would have casted her years ago as a Harley Quinn. Sherry Moon Zombie would have been a way better fucking Harley Quinn than Margot Robbie.
She's got that.
She is Harley Quinn. She's just fucking loopy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just think she's sexy as hell. Like, I think she's so sexy and
Very sexy.
hot in this movie. Otis, he's pretty much normal. Just a bunch of bullet holes. Sid Haig, who was Captain Spaulding, because when the movie was getting ready to be filmed, Rob Zombie had like this whole plot for him because original 3.
Yep.
But as they started filming, Sid Haig's health was declining.
Yeah.
So I think he said like they did 6 or 7 rewrites for him to find something for him to do in the movie, so they wouldn't have to completely write him out. So in the movie, he is only in the beginning for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, if that. And it's him sitting there shackled up, basically, telling his story to a psychiatrist or whatever. They explain to you what happens to him in the movie, why he's not there the rest of the movie. All the Rob Zombie's buddies are in this fucking movie. All the people from previous Rob Zombie movies, everybody that was in like 31, like his last newest one, were in this. Like the midget was in it, a couple of black guys. I personally love seeing that because I like Rob Zombie's universe. I like the characters he gets. I'm a big William Forsythe fan. I think he's a really good actor.
Yeah.
He was in a couple of the Rob Zombie movies. He was in Halloween as the stepdad. I just think he's a good actor. Like, that's just my own personal thing. I really dig him. He wasn't in this, but because he's dead. Danny Trejo was in this one.
Oh.
Which, he's the same character he was in Devil's Rejects, and it's like, whoa, wait, I never really thought you would have had more story to you.
Yeah. He's great for gritty characters.
He is. He is really good. He was Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Wasn't in it very long, but...
Machete's
Yeah,
tremendous.
Machete.
Those are kind of like horror movies, I guess. I mean, there's thriller,
You can consider them
action,
slashers,
Yeah.
sci-fi, especially the second one.
Yeah.
I love them, though.
the
Those are
second
great.
one.
When you get Mel Gibson in any movie as a villain, you got me sold. Like,
I wasn't really into Steven Seagal in the first one. I didn't really like
I
him
didn't
as
mind
much.
it because he seems like a caricature. And it just seemed like, okay, you are playing a parody of yourself. But I know he takes himself very serious. That's the joke to me.
3D sex scene. In the second one? You need to like glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't realize. Who was the sex scene with? Machete?
Machete and some girl.
Lindsay Lohan was in the first one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You needed 3D glasses though.
And then
It's
Charlie
all
Sheen was the
weird.
president in the second one, right?
Yeah.
Because that was right after he started doing the tiger blood and
Yeah.
cocaine and shit. And it's like, that's the world I want to live in. But I wish they would have made a third one because they made like the fake. Like next time on Machete, they show him in space with like fucking lightsaber machetes and jetpacks and shit. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Don't they go to space or no? In the second
As
one.
far as...
I don't know if they actually went to space. Or, because I know like that was like Mel Gibson's like fucking thing.
Yeah.
And like they end up like burning half of his face in the movie, which I thought was cool because as a fan of Two-Face, Mel Gibson was originally casted to be Two-Face in Batman Forever instead of Tommy Lee Jones.
That would have been cool.
But, just a little Batman trope here. he turned it down because they offered him Braveheart instead, and he wanted a movie, a solo movie. Which, hey, take it, man. I wouldn't say you made a career, but that helped your career for sure.
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting to see Mel Gibson as Two-Face.
Especially with what you've seen in the past few movies.
Oh my God,
shit,
yeah. And now I see him more as the Joker. He's just fucking loopy. Yep. But when they burned half of his face in, I was like, yes, there he is. I just thought that was always awesome. But Machete. I love Machete.
It's weird because Machete started off as a joke.
The
Grindhouse.
Grindhouse, who did Planet Terror, and
which was good.
Death Proof.
Planet Terror was great.
Was a joke, and they're like, no, you guys should really do that movie.
Yep.
And then they fucking did it, and it was great.
And the sad thing is, though, like, the fact that there's not a third one, Robert Rodriguez, who did both of them, had to pay out of pocket the entire production of the second one because the studio company wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah. They backed out right after the movie was finished production. And they're like, you know what? We don't see any money in this. We don't want to produce it anymore. So it's a Robert Rodriguez troublemaker, 100% his.
That reminds me of Bruce Campbell for the second one. They couldn't get financing for it either. He put his house up for a second mortgage and gave him the money.
And that's when shit like that, even though it's not in the public knowledge. I mean, it is if you look into it and you like it. But when you know something like that, you can tell then. That's where the passion comes from. That's why they love these characters. As much as Bruce Campbell probably maybe never will be Ash again, you know he's not doing it because he doesn't love doing it. It's just, what more can he do without becoming...
I think he thought his story arc was done.
Which I get, because he does pass the torch off, essentially. Yeah. But they dare leave it with a cliffhanger, they're in the future. I just want to see... He doesn't have to be the main guy, but I want to see that.
Cameo nice,
Have him be... the Wesker that Christopher Christopherson was to Blade. He's a main dude, but he's not the main dude.
Right.
The grouchy old fucking veteran that doesn't want to do anything. It's like, you know what? I've saved the Earth enough. It's your turn, idiot. All right. You know, and go back to him for, like Cranky. Cranky Kong in the old fucking Donkey Kong games. You go to him for trivia.
Then he'd beat you over the head with a cane.
With a cane. Now get out of here and go kill a deadite or something. Like, let him be that, miserable.
Cool.
Fuck. Still working at Smart Value. Or S-Smart, yeah.
Oh,
think sharp, think smart. Shop at Smart.
Smart. I love in the season, though, when he picks up the box with all the light bulbs.
Yeah.
Williams, get rid of that box of light bulbs. All right, boss. Picks it up, and it's got a huge hole in the top, and he just throws it over his shoulder, and hundreds of light bulbs smash, and he's just like, ooh. And he's like walking across him on his tippy toes. It's that fucking humor that gets me. I love it.
Didn't he have a wooden hand in this season?
Yeah. He had a wooden hand, he had an electrical hand, like not an Iron Man.
Oh, they make him like a special...
Yup, the chainsaw. That's like the classic is the chainsaw.
Power glove.
Yep. That's funny, Power Glove. In one of the Freddy movies, he's one of the kids, he puts him in a video game.
Yeah.
And he's got his glove on, but it's got a remote control on the fucking thing. He's like, you forgot about my Power Glove! And I'm like,
Nintendo.
Jesus Christ. How does Freddy get the new exclusive fucking merch?
That's why I love Robert. He's had some great fucking one-liners those movies, man.
Oh, yeah.
I remember he turned, I think it was the third one, he was a TV, and this girl wanted to be an actress.
Yup, and he's got the arms.
He turned into a TV, welcome to
prime time, bitch! And sticks her head right into the TV, yes. I have that quote. I think I actually have that written down.
Welcome to prime time.
I really feel like I did. Hold on a minute.
He's the best.
Yep.
Welcome to prime time, bitch.
That was my favorite quote. And the other one is, I think, is a Dream Warriors lady who has a drug addiction. He meets him in a back alley, and his claws turn into heroin needles.
Yep.
Stabs her to death repeatedly and kills her.
Yep. Yeah, he actually just walks right up to her and just fucking sticks her right in the arms, and
Did
then
she,
just
grow or anything, or just...
No, she just died.
She just dies because
she OD'd.
Because in the real world, nothing happens to your body.
No.
In the fantasy world, it's all in your
Matrix.
head.
Your body can't live without the mind.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
gotcha.
even though one of the guys in one of the movies gets slashed up because like Freddy turns him into a piece of paper and he gets slashed up like a piece of paper. In Freddy's world, yeah, it looks like shredded paper, but in the real world, he's just kind of laying there fucking dead.
Yep.
Which in my head, it should have been, no, you should slash his body up and leave it in pieces and let the scary world like mirror what. Maybe not have him look like the paper in Freddy's world, but have him be like little fucking human chunks all over the place. So when people walk in, like, you know, like, it's not even body no more. It's fucking beef chunks. Let's cook them on the stove.
You know what you're talking about? And I really liked it. It was probably one of my favorite comedy horror movies. Was Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah, that was a good. That's what I had in when.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great because that's kind of a fantasy of a lot of.
Right,
horror fans.
That would be like a Mortal Kombat game to play that. Like, that's the only way I'd ever get these guys to face off.
Yeah.
I remember, if I wish I had notes, because I remember as a kid, when Freddy vs. Jason came out, I was like, they're going to do Michael vs. Leatherface, Pumpkinhead vs. Chucky.
Actually, the original premise of it was supposed to be Michael Myers versus Jason, but first of all, they're too similar in the fact that they both don't run.
Right.
They both never talk. And they kind of use a knife to kill people, so they're like, that's just no.
Right.
Robert Englund was the best to play off him because
he's like the Joker to their Batman.
He's talking to him and taunting him, and Jason doesn't say anything, so it was great play to have, and that was.
And to use him as a puppet.
Yeah.
To get the fear into kids to make them remember Freddy was great.
At Elm Street all those years ago.
Yep. Not anymore. And then, because I couldn't see, like, other than Michael Myers and Jason just. Oh, Michael Myers is on his way to Haddonfield, Illinois, and, Camp Crystal Lake is just on the way. Yeah. Like, it wouldn't have made sense.
That's the only way it makes sense, because Freddy,
he can exist in anybody's universe because he's dimensional.
You know what they say in the movies? There's an Elm Street in every state.
It's true. It's true.
So,
there was, I don't know specifically in Greenwich, but there's an Elm Street in
I lived on Elm Street in Hudson Falls. Dave remembers.
Did you have any nightmares?
I did.
Mostly they took place on John Street, but
They took place at McDonald's in 2010.
Those were all nightmares, my friend.
Dreams of the deep fryer never turning off.
Freddy with his French fry fingertips.
He turned into French fries and he started slashing.
They call me French Freddy!
They got diabetes and died.
You want a Happy Meal?
That was a good movie though. They, I don't know if you remember, they did a promo for that movie. Like a weigh-in, like a boxing match with Freddy. Freddy was sitting on a table, and Robert Englund was just shooting one-liners at him and pissed him off, and they got into a big fighting match, and they kind of crossed swords.
Really?
Yeah, it was good.
That's sweet.
They did each other's weight and stuff.
I'm surprised they've never just done anything like that because again they've run out of so many fucking ideas. Like Leprechaun vs. Chucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch that honestly. Now that I say that out loud, as long as like Sharknado stays away from it, I think we're good. Wow.
Chucky and Leprechaun in a tornado with sharks.
Oh my God, leopard Chucky-nado. Your luck just ran out, doll face.
You're giving that Asian guy ideas from fucking Chucky. He's gonna.
Oh yeah, Charlie. That is a Charlie. His friends call him Chucky. My friends call me Chucky, but you call me Charlie. I mean, we had to go there. I mean, that's a great connect the dots. It all works together, and everybody likes to connect the dots on things and see how, they all work. But, you know what? We got mail earlier for you.
Oh, yeah?
We did. We had viewer mail.
Viewer mail? Oh, boy.
Our first ever viewer mail. Package. It's the mailing date on it is November 1983, so it's been sitting around before the podcast ever even started, which is weird.
I was 2.
I wasn't alive, but it says sent to Chief Jim Hopper. That would be you.
Yeah.
It's your first.
Thanks.
Our first fan mail. Why wouldn't it come to us since we're like the hosts?
Right.
Look at this jag off. What is your gift? What does it say?
Mornings are for coffee and contemplation.
That sounds like a very Jim Hopper thing to say. It's weird that you would get a gift. Well, I'm glad. Thanks for the viewer mail. Whoever sent that in, there's no return thing on it.
Huh.
And then I did forget to do this. Old Deadly Dave Or what was your name again?
Dave Mortal.
Dave Mortal. Dave Mortal.
I can't do it like that.
Estrada. No, not related.
Might be. I don't know. I mean, you know.
This little guy, you cannot even see it on there, but it is a little picture of Stan Lee.
Oh.
Now I thought it was gonna be a sticker.
Oh, I could do it as a sticker.
That's right. Because I don't know how I'm gonna get this to stick.
Glue it.
I'm not gonna glue this. Why would I glue?
I can print more. God damn.
Well, no, I just thought it was going to be a sticker. I thought that's what we said, but it's a little picture of Stan Lee from Into the Spider-Verse, right?
Yep.
That's the one?
Yep.
Which I do like it. That actually made me cry when I saw it. Because he just passed away at that point.
Yep.
And he's talking about Spider-Man like, I miss him, kid. And it's like, no, but you're the one that's dead.
It was for his Lego sets for...
It is, so I can make like a little Stan Lee comic shop. I gotta get more fucking parts. I'm on shit and using them all. But those are two things I forgot to do earlier. You know, we get all talking and shit and into stuff. Where are we at for time? Because we're probably...
2.5 hours.
Are you guys comfortable with where we're at? I mean, I know you guys didn't
pretty much covered.
chat everything up. Steven and I kind of ran with it.
Yeah.
Is there? I do have like stuff I wanted to ask, like, any creepy personal stories that you guys have ever had, like unexplained shit.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I was a kid, so my imagination probably half of it, but I had a bear that I slept with every night when I was 5, and I swear to God, I left it on the floor. And when I got back in my bedroom, it was on my bed. Now, everybody was sleeping. We're watching TV. I brushed my teeth about 5-10 feet away from my bedroom, so I was out in the hallway doing it. I didn't say it for the sake, I kind of walked around it.
Right.
So nobody was there. And it was weird. And I remember to this day, and I don't remember what happened, and it freaked the fuck out of me.
Look at that.
Markadius, you got any? I mean, you live in Hawkins, Illinois,
I mean,
or Indiana, wherever the fuck it is. Where is it?
these damn kids.
Indiana,
all the
you
time.
silly packages. I mean, other than Demogorgons and...
I mean, Russia. I'm in Russia, maybe.
Really?
We'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Okay, well, I guess we'll go with that. Kayfabe in it.
For me, it was when I was a kid in Fort Edward. There was always this house up on a hill. I had to pass it going to my friend's house. And you know when you walk into some place and you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach like you shouldn't be there?
Yeah.
Every time I would walk by that house.
You just
And
got that.
then they tore it down, like, it was a few years ago. And then, like, I'd go by it and that feeling was gone.
Yeah.
It was like somebody was watching me from that house and I could never get that feeling out of my system.
Oh, I definitely know those kind of feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of freaky stories that have happened to me. A lot of shit. I really very much so believe in almost anything supernatural, ghost. I don't want to come right out and say I believe in Jesus Christ and the devil, but I believe in good and evil, whatever will
Yep.
be depicted as, spiritual, demonic, whatever the fuck you want to categorize it as. I believe in all of it because there's too much unexplainable shit that we just pass by as the normal. To where
Well,
it's
you
like,
gotta
no.
do, the movies that we're talking about, people came up with that shit. So something's, you know, for the fucked up shit that people come up with.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just...
To go, you know, just the simple thing like Freddy. The origin of Freddy Krueger is he was his mom was a nun raped by 100 crazy men in an asylum. Now, okay, that's a movie. But you bet your ass that's happened. You bet your ass there's loony bins in the last 100+ years where that's happened.
Yep.
I mean, there were insane asylums in the 50s and 60s were insanely dehumanizing.
Yes.
They would take people out of their rooms, have tubs of ice and cold water, and put people in there for fun.
And that's mild.
Yeah.
For the shit they've
that's
done.
the shit you know about that's in public. You don't know what happened that was...
A lot of it's in public now just because of the, you know, researching and people kind of like us that are curious about that shit that go and actually look
If you
into
ever
it.
walk through an old abandoned asylum, there's a bunch around here.
Yeah.
And you just look at it and see how the people lived.
When
in those
well,
asylums.
that's kind of my little scary story. Friends of mine We went to Troy, where there's an abandoned
I remember
hospital.
you talking about this.
Yeah.
And it got closed down in 1993 for
Health reasons. Are they-
abusing the patients, malpractice, all sorts of
Was it
shit.
like an elderly home where they were abusing people, or
No,
just
it's like
patients in general?
Patients in general, male mistreatment and shit like that. Like when we went there the very first night, it's all black, it's all closed down. We didn't know where we were going. We walk up to the building, and you saw just these shadows, or silhouettes, just like these 5, 6 silhouettes, just black silhouettes standing shoulder to shoulder to shoulder, right in a row. And we thought it was like a gang. We're in Troy. You don't know. So we're like, you know what? We're not gonna go fuck with that, because what if it's homeless people? What if it's like it is a gang, or whatever? In reality, it could be. So we said, fuck it, let's leave. Well, we went and got a little liquid encouragement in us after we left. We came back with golf clubs and like a fire poker and shit. We're like, all right, now we're ballsy. So we go back to this hospital now. That group of whatever we saw is gone, but as we're walking around the back of the building, we hear just these distinct voices just from every direction. There's no, oh, it sounds like it's over there, let's stay with me. It's like, fuck, they sound like they're everywhere. And then it just stops. Just stops. We go into the back of the building. It is all, like, everything's boarded up except for this one window. And visually, it's terrifying, because it's like looking at, when you're watching the Blair Witch Project movies, and you're going through the house, it's all that first person, you're seeing the peeled paper, it's like, how could life have ever existed here? It just seems so disturbed that no way anything lived here, ever. That's how it felt. We're walking through the halls, windows are smashed, the place is gutted, the walls are ripped apart, the ceiling's ripped down, there's couches littered up against the walls, food, clothing, condoms, everything humanizing to make you be like, wow, the reality is scary opposed to what we think we were going to find. We end up getting to this one hallway, and it looked just like the hallway to hell. The walls looked like they had caught fire from like underneath the rugs and just lit up the wall all the way around the whole fucking thing. We only had a keychain. It was with me, Mike Ballard, and my friend Spencer. And we had just a keychain with a little fucking flashlight on it. We're like, you know what? We're not gonna do this. This is way too fucked up. Like, what if we run into a meth head down here? So we end up leaving. My buddy Spencer and I go back the next day while Mike is at work, and it's all lit up. Like, there's not lights on, but it's sun's out.
Daylight, yeah.
And whatever natural light we're getting through the windows. But there's hallways. It's a 5-story building. Like, this is a huge hospital.
Right.
The hallway, though, there's no windows. It's pitch black. The only light you get is from when you open the fucking door, and that was it. That was terrifying. It's like, what if we keep going up these flight of stairs and we just step on homeless people, drug addicts? I don't know. Like, it's just a real mindset. We find this one room, actually, right on the end of this table, end of the table you're sitting at. There is an entrance sign, like,
Yeah.
that is from the hospital. I took it from there. I took a shit. I had a fucking bunch of stuff. I took documents, tons of shit. We found this one room, the only room in this entire hospital that had anything left in it still. There must have been hundreds of thousands of documents talking about how the doctors mistreated patients. Like, there was one elderly woman where she was saying in her, like, description of what happened, she was calling for the nurse with the little buzzer. The nurse came in, started arguing with her, got sick of hearing the buzzer, threw the buzzer on the ground. As the old woman, went to reach for it, the lady brought down the fucking side of the bed onto her wrist and completely broke her wrist. Tons of stuff like that. Doctors giving way too much medication to patients to sedate them. That's why the place got shut down. When we found out, Mike Ballard's dad used to work there as a janitor. So he was like giving us more backstory of this shit. It's like, holy fuck, like, wow. Then to have all these documents, literally, like, just mistreating, like, doctors breaking patients' fingers to get them to stop, whatever, shut up, and just crazy, crazy shit. We heard that day when we were in there, we kept hearing glass. Like, it sounded like someone was throwing, like not big chunks of glass, but, like, little pieces of glass, like, down the hall, not at us, but in the area we were. And we would hear it, like, for, like, a couple minutes, and we would stop, and we would hear it, and, like, all right, let's go out. And then it was nothing. And there was no glass, no nothing, but it's like, that's definitely, like, the sound of, like, shing, like just that little chingy sound, kind of. We ended up going back there that night when Mike got out of work, and when we found out, actually, when we talked to his dad about the place, he's like, "Oh yeah, the hallway you guys were talking about, that's where the morgue is." And I was like, "Oh, all right, no wonder it looks
That
like
makes
it's
a lot of
on the
sense,
way to
yeah.
hell." We go back the next day, and it's nighttime now, and we have flashlights and shit. We start going down the hallway, and I remember it like yesterday, and I'm getting chills again because of it, because it's so freaky. We were walking down this way, just like this, and it was like went this way and then this way. We were gonna go into this room, and it felt like a fucking wall. It just been placed right in front of me. I couldn't move. All I could do was just shake, and Mike looked at me, and I was like, I can't go in there. And I just started crying. Just perfectly calm, but just started crying. And I'm like, I need a fucking cigarette. And I don't smoke cigarettes. So he was, taken back by that, and he gave me one, and the room that I couldn't go in was the morgue. And no matter the energy I felt like I was putting into it was just being sucked right out of me. I couldn't fucking move. And I just was crying. Like, not hysterically, but just like a nervous cry. Like a fucking nervous cry. And I'm just sitting there smoking the cigarette, like one fucking long drag. And we ended up going and sitting in like this room, this big, giant auditorium. You could just tell it was either like an auditorium, a cafeteria, or something. We're sitting on this opposite side of the room, and Mike is sitting there, and he's rolling up a joint because he's like, you need to relax. He goes, I don't know what's going on with you, but you need to relax. And you could just hear like knocking all throughout this room. Like, and I'm not just like, oh, pipes are knocking, like it was somebody,
like rhythmic. Like,
yes,
yeah.
but it wasn't like it was all over the place. You would lose, because it's completely black in there, so you don't know where the direction even is. You don't know. You lose all sight or senses. But like that was scary, because I just believe in that shit. I mean, I've got so many more stories like that. But I had all those documents at one of my last apartments when I lived out on Auburn in Glens Falls or Queensbury, whatever it is. And I truly believe something was with those. Something had followed or was connected to that shit. And no one will ever believe me, but when I was in the shower at that apartment, I didn't see a hand, I didn't see skin or a hand. But when I turned to get my soap, now I can't see very well with my glasses off, so like I'm already at a disadvantage of what I'm seeing. I literally saw the form, not a hand, but the form, like an outline of a hand passing through the water and then placing itself up against the side of the shower, and I could see fingerprints forming. Like right on the shower, or the side of the shower. And my first thought was, maybe I just did that. Maybe I put my hand up there and I'm just seeing shit. So I put my hand right up against it, and I could not match. It was like somebody's hand was literally pressed up against it, stopping the water from rolling down.
That's fucked up.
It was really fucking weird. And my brother saw this, handprints, little kid handprints on my ceiling. Like a little kid was crawling across the ceiling. They were still there till I moved out. They were like little green. And the people that lived there before me had just repainted it, because it used to be, at that time, it was like a brown, like a tan color the walls were in the living room. But they repainted the whole thing just white. And I remember walking through one day and just seeing like these little fucking green handprints form on my ceiling. And I freaked right out. I remember calling my brother because he lived downstairs. I'm like, you need to come upstairs right now. Like, tell me what I'm seeing was already there. Help me out, because this ain't right. I heard this is all in the same time. I heard coming up my stairs. I was like, all right, he's right here. Go to open the door. Nobody there. And I mean, they were like pounding footsteps up the stairs. And as soon as I opened the door, I'm like, yeah, Rick? And then seconds later, he opens the downstairs door and he's getting ready to come in. I'm like, the fuck is going on here? I left all that shit there except for that little entrance sign. I think that was going into the bathroom. But I left all that shit at my brother's apartment. I've never, to this day, and this has been like almost 8 years, I've never had like an experience like that ever again. I believe in that shit like crazy.
Oh, I do too.
Like crazy. Well, I don't know. Are you feeling like you're ready to wrap up? 'Cause,
We're at 2 hours and 48 minutes.
hey, it was a special. We said that from the get-go. Jesus, it's not like we can't do special part 2 next year.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Fucking take the notes right here and stick with it. So I guess if everybody's kind of done sharing, or if there's something you want to throw out there real quick, I mean, Senor, you brought a piñata.
Pinata! The wrestling fans will get that.
They'll get that. Ed Ferrara, right? Is that
Yeah.
his fans.
If he has fans.
Vince Russo's fans, because they're friends. It's
Bro.
all connected. Bro, it's
Bro.
a piñata.
They'll love it, bro.
Bro, if we take a bunch of Mexicans, bro.
We're making fun of a guy that's got Bell's palsy. They'll love it,
Bro,
bro.
I'll always wear flip-flops, bro, with fucking sweatsuits, bro. Vince Russo, bro, Hall of Fame 2020. Me,
Oh,
I'm
Jesus.
the only one, bro. Could you imagine?
I created the Attitude Era, bro.
I-
All of it.
I built Hulk Hogan, bro. What was the AWA, bro?
I built it. Brick
Alright.
by brick, bro.
Brick by... I'm the only Vince that matters, bro! That should be like a wrestling t-shirt. The only Vince that matters, and have like Vince McMahon's face on the front, and have like Vince Russo on the back like crying. That'd be a funny shirt. I don't know. Well, like I said, if we're all done, boys and ghouls and spooks, and I mean that isn't like scary people, not like a racist, derogatory remark, even though we've been on that kind of bandwagon all night. Well, all right, dudes and brothers, this has been the Comic Wrestling Podcast, the special that we are gonna call the Little Comic Shop of Horror, dudes. We want to thank Stone Cold Steven, who's under the guise of Thomas Hewitt, or was it Thomas Sawyer, brother? Officer Hopper, thanks for joining us. You said a whole lot, but even without saying nothing, dude, you said it all.
Thanks for having me.
May things be stranger in your life.
Yeah.
Arriba!
Arriba!
We want to thank Tito Santana, Savio Vega, Juventud
Armando Estrada.
Armando Estrada, brother. That's not him, dudes. This is
Dave Mortal.
ay ay ay. This has
Ay,
been the
caramba.
what?
Ay caramba.
Thanks for joining us, and we hope you check us out again when we do a regular episode.